people entering the honeymoon phase. And if you look at what's going on in CEO, we're getting people from NRS games, from Tekken, from anime, from Guilty Gear. It's just a whole big smorgasbord of FGC talent. And it's going to be incredible to see how people will adjust. And we are underway already. What a cracking start as we have Corey and Temkin. And this is actually what we're talking about here, because Corey is an incredible Guilty Gear player, a veteran of our Guilty Gear tournaments, already coming at it, going at it, hammer and tongs, and I'm just psyched to see how we can do.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just to add to that, I mean, new players, like, it's going to be really interesting to see how each of these new players coming from their respective games and how they're going to be using their game knowledge to adjust and like applying that to the new Street Fighter system that I mean has been in place for a long time, but it's going to be really interesting to see how they can shake that up. And here we go.
Definitely.
Chun-Li, yeah, already bringing Guile to the corner. Guile, super defensive character. This isn't something he's too worried about being this close. I mean, we'll see. He's in burnout now, so Corey is going to be pushing the advantage right now, getting a good combo, but he's putting himself into burnout. Hopefully, it won't matter too much as he's throw looping Temkin in the corner, and Temkin getting counter hit, not wanting to do the throw loops anymore, not wanting to engage with that, and yeah, getting counter hit for his troubles. Corey off to a great start.
Something with Temkin's style, something you have to be worried about is, yes, Guile is a defensive character. He's a charge character. You're used to him archetypically waiting for his moment and holding back, and then all at once it surges out. But you don't want to be so defensive that you're passive. You don't want to wait for your turn so long that it never comes. If you wait too long at the train station, the train goes right by you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And Corey is just taking the fight right to Temkin. We've already got the critical arc going, and that is going to be a big an unfortunate start to the tournament for Temkin.
But Temkin, using drive impact of his own and going to a CA, this is going to do so much damage, just evening up the life field just like that. Both players in burnout again, just like the previous round. But if there's any position that Guile wants to be in, he wants his opponent to be in burnout. I mean, awesome projectile, awesome zoning game. He's going to be eating away your life and eating away every drive gauge. But Corey, not letting that matter, pushing that aggression and taking that game from Temkin.
Yes, Corey so far just far too aggressive for Temkin, who really has to step it up. He showed glimmers of brilliance in that last game, but he's letting himself get overwhelmed. He's letting himself get outworked. You saw Corey read his fireball game like a book, jump in and make the kill happen. Temkin already stepping it up a bit now. He's getting in Corey's face with the low kicks, the sweeps, getting the point blank, flash kicks and sonic booms, but you know, he's got to find that balance. He's got to find a way to get out of the corner. That was a good punish counter, a good start. And he is in burnout, but so is Corey almost. So is Corey. Very, very close. Temkin really trying to make this more his game, trying to seize the initiative and hoping to just dictate the pace of the second game. Because if he doesn't take the pace away from Corey, he's going to have a very, very short night.
Yeah, and I would like to see Temkin just push that aggression a little bit more. I mean, these new system mechanics are allowing for slower characters like Guile to be able to be really aggressive. I mean, running forward, Sonic Boom, we need to see more of like those aggressive plays in order to keep Corey in check, keep Corey like out of control of the game, because that's what Corey's been looking right now. Corey has been in control of the game, setting the pace, and not letting Temkin really get anything started.
Yeah, Temkin he's like a fish out of water. He's flopping around. Sometimes he catches you with a fin or his tail, but he's got to step
my God, that
this is a good sign, but not quite able to capitalize on the stun, and now he's turtling up. Yeah, that drop is going to cost him because we're doing first to two right now, right? So Corey is on set point. I'm new to Digital Havoc.
Yes, it should be first to two. So Corey is on set point, and it looks like he's getting ever and ever closer to taking that. Guile with not a lot of meter on deck and using the flash kick. Okay, didn't get a full combo off of that for Corey, but now he is pushing that aggression. No, he's backing up and going to get flash kick. Corey going to block this level one, should be able to punish with a level 2 of his own. And there we go. Corey taking it over Temkin.
Yeah, Temkin not even staying to watch the credits on that one. He was just like, nope, I'm done. I know where this movie's going to end. I'm leaving Why? And like, you almost can't blame him because just nothing went right for Temkin there. He's a good player, I'm sure, but it just was not his day. Corey read him like a book. That was some incredibly dominant Chun-Li play.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that I noticed, and one thing I really want to see going into these later matches, is I want to see adaptation. I think adaptation is so much more important in a game like Street Fighter 6 as opposed to I feel a lot of other games. And the reason why I believe this is because of the drive gauge. Because the game gives you that drive gauge full at the start of every round, how each player uses that drive gauge is going to be vastly different from the other people. I mean, there's one thing about
It is.
adapting to the other person's characters and how they play those characters, but I
Mm.
feel like adapting to how they use the drive gauge is so much more important. And
It
as we
is.
saw there in the previous game, both players are super like trigger happy with using their drive gauge, always putting themselves into burnout, putting each other into burnout. And I don't know, I would like to see maybe people being a little more like reserving that drive gauge for some more important moments and
Mm.
not letting yourself be put into that disadvantageous position that burnout gives you.
I'm inclined to agree, and I wonder how much this is kind of people adjusting from Street Fighter V, because sure, a lot of people played the closed betas and the open betas and the demo, but that was only a blink of the eye compared to Street Fighter V's entire lifetime and the eventual release of Street Fighter 6. So you have people used to the V meter, you're used to V reversals and stuff, and kind of making an adjustment, especially because the story of the beta seemed to be if you burnt out, you lost and you were kind of dead. So I think we're seeing a lot of people develop drive gauge awareness and kind of adapting to not only the opponent's use of drive, but figuring out how they should use drive.
Oh yeah, for sure. And to touch on what you talked about burnout, uh, honestly, I think one important thing that players should keep in mind, honestly, is not necessarily backing up, not necessarily like turtling when you burn out, because that's like the
Yes.
worst thing you could do. It seems
Mm.
smart, right? Because you're in like this
Yeah.
really weird situation. But when you really think about it, you get more blocks done if you get hit on block. You get
Yes.
chipped if you block specials. You need to put on that aggression even when you're in burnout. It is a bad situation. You're probably not going to get the same reward because you don't have drive gauge for EX moves or drive rush anymore, but you really need to push that aggression when you're in burnout.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also when your opponent's not going to expect you to fight back. It's like they kind of think they have you cornered. They're going to open up their own aggression. Maybe they'll dial back a bit because they figure the round is basically done. That's your best chance to catch them off guard. I mean, think about it. Rope-a-dope, the Ali Foreman fight, you've got a big guy just slugging at you, thinks you're dead meat because you're in the corner. He drops his left a bit. Boom!
And just like that.
Oh, he is. Mm. Mm.
All right, so we are currently waiting for the next match. Right now
Same.
on deck, we have Flux Waves, super strong player from Montreal, JP
Yes.
player. So this is going to be the first JP we've seen so far, and I don't know. I mean, JP, super popular character, and
Yes.
I really want to see how Flux Waves put his own spin on this really popular character and how he uses those strong tools of his to really take advantage of the game systems. And going against Flux Wave is going to be the winner of the next of the set before, which is between Phantom and Nib Nib. So whoever he gets, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have had the privilege of seeing Fluxwaves Ed play because he's been a regular at the online local for our entire first few tournaments of the season, starting with Street Fighter 6. He's won one, he's placed high in the other two. He has the best record of the season so far, even though he didn't get incredibly far in our third tournament this Monday. He's like 26-8. If you put that on a boxer or an MMA fighter, people would be talking about Hall of Fame or title shots. They'd say, this guy is incredible. And the thing with him is that JP's playstyle fits him like a glove because he was a veteran with Minot and Poison, these very
Oh my
oppressive
God, you are
zoning characters
completely
with
right.
so many options, so many ways in and out. And like, especially Minot, because she's so trap based, she's so oppressive, it's so easy to feel like you have no way in. It's like you're up against the best player in the game. I remember my first times playing against Minot and just feeling completely lost. It's like, what can I even do? Should I even bother pressing buttons? Should I just put the controller down? And Fluxwave Zed is a specialist at instilling that frustration and despair in an opponent. What I'm interested in seeing is if he'll be able to carry that psychological advantage, or if whoever faces him next is going to be able to avoid cracking.
Yeah, and crack the players will, because JP, like, there's one thing where, Street Fighter zoning has always been pretty strong, especially projectile zoning, because you can't whiff punish that. But I say even more, Street Fighter 6, so much more powerful, at least what we're seeing currently. Because,
Yes.
You get hit by the projectile, you can't whiff punish it, and you can't get a drive rush if you whiff punish, you know what I mean? And then every single time he hits you with one of those projectiles, he's just eating away at your drive gauge. And once he's eating away at your drive gauge, you're in burnout. And once you're in burnout, he's eating away at your life, and you're struggling to get in. And once you have those tools taken away from you with the drive gauge, what can you do to get in? It's just a really desperate situation at that point. So when you're playing against a character like JP, you want to be you want to save your drive meter. In case he is starting to lock you full screen, and you want to have those tools available to you to not crack under pressure.
Yeah, carefully curating your drive meter is important against anybody, but especially against JP, because I feel like JP is good at getting players to panic. He's a boss character for a reason. He's the Oh.
Ooh, another
All right,
JP
we've got
player.
a new match, everybody.
Again, can't wait to see how he takes his own spin on JP, on this super popular, super dominant character in the Street Fighter 6 early game.
Yes, absolutely. I'm inclined to agree, especially because Sabonsai, Farik was top 2 last Digital Havoc. So we're going to see some fireworks going off. And I personally love seeing people come back and defend their title. I mean, sitting in winners round 2 on a bye, we have Joe Umerogan, who he won the last Digital Havoc. He won Revenge of the Sixth. He has been dominant in this new season so far, and just a very, very powerful person to see.
And yeah, that consistency is so important. We have a lot of top players here that are showing up to Digital Havoc today. And I mean, yeah, as you said before, Joe Rogan, Fluxwave, we got Remy Celeste too. And I bet there's so many more players, but I say those 3 players I've also been seeing a lot, just consistently placed high in Street Fighter 6 tournaments all over the place. And it's just really cool to see how optimized their play is in this kind of like Wild West era of a new game.
Absolutely.
Street Fighter 6, new game. I mean, we're kind of optimizing things, but it's hard to say whether or not we've truly started optimizing, truly started getting to know the game to its fullest. And when you have consistency of this high caliber, it's going to be cool to see how well they've optimized their kits in the way that they see is most powerful.
Absolutely. And part of that is that in this Wild West era, the people with the strongest fundamentals are going to get very, very far, especially because half the people they face don't really know how to play yet. They haven't figured out the meta. The meta is still being shaped. We haven't figured it out. I don't think even Capcom knows the meta yet. So players like Joe Rogan and Fluxwave Zed, who were very, very strong players of Street Fighter V, they know the rough framework of how it works. They know the fundamentals. They know how to control space. They know how to time. They know how to find gaps in their opponent's attacks. They know all the basic stuff. They're usually not going to be caught dropping a B&B. Sometimes it happens in the fast-paced world of fighting games, but that sheer mastery of the fundamentals and the basics will take you very, very far.
Yeah, I mean, in a game like Street Fighter, it's like there's one thing where there's neutral, and there's like the combos and your damage and your optimization with the tech. I feel like, yeah, optimization is super important, but the fundamentals, as it's literally in the name, it's the fundamentals, it's the groundwork.
They're called
The
bread and butter
optimization
combos
of
for
the
a reason.
mechanics just builds on top of the fundamentals. So all right, another switch up.
Yep.
Do you know any of the players? Okay. Gotcha.
My puppy is named Kobe, so I'm gonna hope I can call this match without her jumping on me, because she's gonna come over and be like, "What? What do you want, Dad? What's up?"
Just show her some great Street Fighter 6. You know, get the dog start playing on this on the game. Start learning those DJ B&Bs.
We've seen you can teach a dog how to throw a Hadoken, so.
I mean, input's hard. A dog can throw a Hadoken. But yeah, and this should be good. This should be good.
Absolutely. And I'm especially looking forward to seeing what the local face can do. Kobe from right here in Toronto. Well, not right here for me, but you know what I mean.
And here we go. Straight
All
right into it. We got Ken versus Jury. Banzai on Jury. Kobe on Ken. You know, also super strong characters already in the early game. Super dominant. Big buttons. And are super good at using drive rush. He's getting that drive impact counter, going to do some big damage. Using the side swap with the new Dragon Lash kick. That is a really strong new tool that Ken has that is great for keeping up the pressure on block and also in combos.
Yeah, look at this aggression they're both opening up with. Both of them just trying to beat each other into the mat right from the word go. And so far, Kobe coming out ahead. But of course, Banzai is a veteran. Banzai does know what he's doing. And Jury is a character who can make those comebacks. Not enough this round, though. Kobe going one up. And I'm sorry, I thought I was looking at Street Fighter 6, but it's 5 Mac. You've got Jury, you've got Ken.
Right now. Oh, yo, go ahead.
No, that was the end of my sentence. But yes, I too am loving Kobe's patience.
I feel like I accidentally interrupted you. But anyways, I'm really loving the patience we're seeing from Kobe right now. He's not really, like, pressing preemptively. He's really just reacting to what Banzai is doing and punishing him accordingly, keeping him in the positions he wants him to be. But it's not really helping right now as Banzai has him in the corner. This is the position he wants him to be in right now, constantly jumping. Okay, going for the grab. Kobe forcing to block off this. Okay, he's jumping, expecting the grab afterwards.
Problem is he's one touch away, and there we go. We're going into a final round. Whew. I mean, the thing with Kobe is he can't be too patient. It looked like he was too patient there. He is good at looking for his openings and not just mashing on a whim. He's good at finding his turn when it comes. But much like our previous match, I think sometimes he's getting caught waiting too long. But that was a really good intercept of the dive kick and a great punish counter. And now the fight is going in his favor. He is taking over the momentum. But that CA might be an issue. That might be a big, big problem.
Oh my god, and this is going to knock out a easy 25%. You're like, what in the world is that damage? Kobe on his last slaves with his drive gauge. Just a sliver of it left. Drive impact. This is such a bad situation to be in. Low life, burnout. Anything will chip you out. Anything, any hit is going to chip you out. No use of your drive gauge. Okay, he goes for the jump, but gets hit by the drive impact, stuffing him out. Drive impact so strong against people on burnout. There's nothing that you can really do except jump or throw. And when you're trying to play neutral, pressing your buttons, throwing out those hitboxes, you're going to get stuffed by it at some point. And that was an excellent use of the EX to get out of there.
Yeah, Kobe's starting to turn up the heat a little. That's another great punish counter. Consistent punish counters. He is just there every time. Anytime Banzai gives him an opening for that punish counter. The problem is he finds himself in burnout so darn much.
Yeah, for sure. But Banzai is in burnout right now too, and you know, we'll see how this goes. I mean, Kobe not really pushing the aggression all too much as Banzai is really even in burnout is controlling the pace of the match, getting his drive gauge now back, using that instant drive rush just to get in, get that plus frames, get that advantage. And
yes, that's what I was worried about with him possibly being too patient. Yeah, both of them burnt out now. The drive rush came blocked, and so far it is all Bonsai up onto set point. And Kobe really has to dig deep and find a way to claw through this. The zoning is there. He does have a lot of options in that regard, and he is good at defense, but the turtling is just not going to work out for him. We've seen that through 3 rounds.
But the drive impact counters are always putting in that work for Kobe. If there's one thing he is good at right now, it is drive impacting every single one of Bonsai's. And yeah, I mean, we don't, that is one good thing that comes from his patience. But you know, as you said before, you can't be patient for too long. Bonsai is really taking advantage of that. You know, his instant drive rush is always getting in, and Kobe not really doing anything about it.
Yeah, Kobe maybe not sure what to do about it. I mean, I don't know how much experience he has. He's a local, but he is trying to make a last stand. He is getting Bonsai's health down and dangerous, and that's going to be the round. Maybe Kobe showing some signs of life. Maybe able to claw back from the brink. Bonsai determined to double up on the chunk of meat he's torn out and go for the kill.
And also, both players have their full level 3. They can really cash out at any time right now. And that is so scary. And just like that, Bonsai choosing to cash out that level 3. Look at the damage that's going to happen right here as Kobe's life just melts away like a stick of butter in the summer heat. Oh, look at that perfect parry. That was perfect timing on his part, just to take out that drive impact.
You can't fault Kobe's mental. You can't fault his mental. He does not lose his composure. He does not play like someone who's despairing. Heck, he doesn't play like someone who knows he's losing. And that attitude is very helpful for any player because that's how you keep driving yourself to improve. But that's his last sliver of health. That is one interaction away, and not capitalizing on Bonsai's burnout, aware of how little health he has, trying to get in. He's not able to. Bonsai going for the super, and that is it.
Yeah, one thing about that super too is that even if Kobe blocked it, he's just going to take that chip and just die from that instantly. And that is, and yeah, I mean, you gotta be wary of your drive gauge. You can't be just spending it just like that willy-nilly, because just someone just spends their super gauge and then you're locked into the super and you die even if you block it. And that just leads to so many checkmate situations that not a lot of players are really taking into consideration.
Yeah, fighting games are as much mental as physical. They are not just about being able to physically do the inputs and execute the combos. There's a mental game. You have to think 10, 20, 30 moves ahead. You have to react on the fly instantly. It's like playing speed chess, except you're watching it on a screen and you know your character's getting beaten up. And think about what happens in chess if you throw away all your pawns willy-nilly. Even though you have your powerful pieces still, you've got no way to use them without sacrificing them. You can't tie your opponent down. You can't create openings, and the biggest gun in the world just isn't going to help you.
Yeah, well said. And also a thing that really sets top players apart from everyone else is how they manage everything that they need to react to. There's so many things in Street Fighter 6 you need to react to. It's a very tiring game. I play the game. I play it for like an hour, 2 hours. I am tired. I'm like done. I'm not playing this game anymore. And
it genuinely is a very big mental toll. I mean, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but
you're good.
I've heard that chess grandmasters, they're thinking so hard and so intensely and trying to visualize so far ahead, they burn an insane amount of calories and have to work out and eat like professional athletes. And the same thing can be said for professional fighting game players. I mean, there's a reason that Daigo is thin as hell.
Even if he drinks all those Red Bulls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drinks all those Red Bulls, it's still the perfect form. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how progressing through this bracket, how each player is going to be managing their own mental stack, choosing and figuring out what is most important to be looking for at that any given specific time, and being able to punish accordingly. And like as you said, or not as you said, but as we saw in the last match, Kobe was really looking out for those drive impacts. Every single time Bonsai went for a drive impact, I think he hit maybe 1 or 2 without going unpunished. And Kobe, every single other time, counter drive impact, counter perfect parry, and able to cash out.
And here we come. The next match is ready. We've got Kalki and Remy Celeste This is going to qualify for top 16, and we have got two of the internet community's most hated characters, Lily and Dalsim. This is going to be a fun one. What do you think of this matchup?
You know, two characters that people are rating pretty low going into Street Fighter 6. Lily they see as a little more basic, and Dalsim they see as really struggling with the system mechanics. But as we're seeing right here, I mean, these two characters really can give their own fight. And Lily, a character, 50-50s all the time. When she gets that wind cloud, she's going to be threatening either a strike or a command grab every single time. And it is one of the scariest things. It's very simple, but that simpleness is deceptive.
Yes, absolutely. And you've got the simplicity of Lily against the complexity of Dalsim. Dalsim can do good work. I was seeing Dalsim's rip things up at CEO pools. I've seen Dalsim's do very powerful stuff at the online local. But the problem is he's a very knowledge-heavy character. You really have to know how to exploit his tools. You can't just go in there, hit buttons, and expect to go far at all.
Yeah, and that's really just Dalsim in any Street Fighter, honestly. Knowing how to fight against his tools. These are huge normals. I mean, look at those normals. And now he can even drive rush off of some of them. You know, standing heavy kick. He can drive rush off of that and get a combo just like that.
That was a good thought, trying to condor spiral through the impact and stuff to close the distance, but not getting Kalki very far. Remy working on a perfect round so far, really working through it. Not going to get a perfect, but damn close.
I'm going to count that as a perfect. It was close enough.
Yeah, that's a gentleman's perfect. You know, it's kind of like if the player resigns, you call it a gentleman's mate. That's a gentleman's perfect.
Yeah, we just agree that he played perfectly right there. But here we go. I mean, let's see if Kalki can really bring it back. Lily is really, as he's playing Lily, he's really struggling to get in against Remy Celeste. Remy Celeste is on top of the zoning game right now, stuffing every single one of Kalki's options. Every single time he tries to approach, whether it be jumping in the air, whether it be walking forward, Remy Celeste is right on him. And you know, Remy Celeste is a strong zoner player. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Whenever Kalki gets in, it's like Remy Celeste is seeing a tape from the future because he knows where Kalki's going to be and just instantly punishes it. I mean, this is absolutely smothering stuff, and Remy Celeste already on set point. He barely took any damage in the last round, and in that one, still comfortably ahead. Kalki able to get a bit of offense going, but it seems like every way they turn, there's Remy.
I think Kalki just not too sure of how to deal with Dalsim's tools right now. Dalsim is really just controlling the pace of the match, not able to fully convert off of that final anti-air, but he will finish it with that, I think, crouching light punch, if I'm not, crouching medium.
That's what it looked like.
Sure. Okay.
It happened so fast that how can you tell?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Such a fast game, all of these buttons being thrown out all over the place. It can be hard to really keep track, and that's kind of weird. Is not a lot of people really connect Street Fighter with fast. Everyone, whenever you hear Street Fighter, people are always like, oh, that's a slow, methodical game. But here we have Street Fighter 6 throwing all of that out the window. This is a super fast-paced game. You blink it, you miss it.
Yeah, I mean, and then the next game is going so fast, is going already as soon as the last one ended. I think part of that, the reputation for slowness, is that Street Fighter 4 and 5 had so long a time to have the meta develop and for everyone to kind of lock in optimal play and stuff and figure things out. So you had people who had completely mastered the game trying to outmaster each other. Here, it's the time of monsters. It's the wilderness. Here, everyone is still figuring out the ropes. Everyone's still developing the meta, and everyone is just tearing each other apart.
Yeah, we're throwing reckless abandon at the wall. We are doing whatever we want right now, and you know, I'm all on board. I love seeing how these players are just doing whatever seems good to them at the moment, and that's honestly one of the favorite parts of mine when it comes to any new era of any fighting game. You know, seeing these players build the meta and not really knowing anything. So like, nothing's optimized. So people are just doing their own thing, and that brings so much interesting play.
Yep. I mean, time on the... One second. All right, we have Corey versus Fluxwave Zed. They have both had a rocket up the bracket so far, and we talked all day about Fluxwave Zed not too long ago. Just a dominant JP player, just a player so good. Anyone he goes in with feels like the best character in the game. I'm really interested in seeing what Corey, the Guilty Gear player, usually is able to do, especially because he's probably used to dealing with characters like Happy Chaos, who are just living up to their name, really.
Yeah, and as you said, that's really important to bring up. Corey has a lot of experience from Guilty Gear Strive, and Happy Chaos, crazy character. That character can do anything, can whether it be zoning, whether it be close up pressure, and in a way, JP feels a bit of the same, where he's like super strong in that zoning, but not necessarily up close and personal. And also, his moves feel a lot more telegraphed than you would expect from Happy Chaos. So Corey, coming from a game like Guilty Gear Strive and learning that patience and learning how to play against that kind of character, maybe we could see that come into his play here and maybe have a much easier time fighting against a character like JP because of that.
Absolutely, especially because Strive is such a fast-paced game that I think he's going to adjust very well to Street Fighter 6's pace. I mean, it's not the thinking fest. It is, but you know where I'm going with this. It's not sit down in the corner and think through everything. It's fast, it's aggressive, it's in your face. And that's exactly the kind of gameplay you're used to if you are a Guilty Gear Strive veteran.
Yeah, for sure. Just seeing how we're going to be getting oh my god. Fast-paced gameplay. How do I put it? I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say here. I can't think of it.
It's all right. I'm not going anywhere.
Let's see.
Would you like to phone a friend?
Yeah. No, I'll think about it. Maybe it will come back up later in the stream. Yeah, I had it at the tip of my tongue and it just instantly disappeared. I hate that feeling.
Yeah,
so much.
Same. And then later you're going down the stairs or something and you're like, wait, that was it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like a week from now, I'm gonna be packing boxes over at work and I'm just gonna be like, wait a minute. That's what I was trying to say. And then I try to bring it to the next event, and then I try to bring it to the next event and I completely forget it there again too.
Yep. I mean, that's how it is with Street Fighter. It's going so fast that you barely even have time to breathe, let alone plan your lines or anything. By the time you're done talking about a round, the next one has begun.
Yeah, very emblematic of like a lot of other games. Again, Guilty Gear, and I would love to see how Corey is going to bring that into his match. I know, both these players are going to be coming up soon. And I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited, and we're getting right into it. Not looking to use any faces. We are serious right now. We are here to win.
Yep. I mean, these players aren't at CEO right now, but neither of them are to be taken lightly. Fluxwave Zed, an online local veteran who is just tearing things up in the new season, and we've just been talking about Corey, so you know what to expect from him.
Oh my god, using the teleport twice. That is such a scary option that not a lot of people are really looking out for like early on, because I mean, you know, JP likes to set those out, and a lot of the JPs I see just leave it there as like that kind of mind. But
yeah,
you see Fluxwave making a really efficient use of that teleportation to really catch Corey off guard, and he got him twice with it too.
Yes, but Corey's experience dealing with zoners, dealing with a high-paced, aggressive gameplay really showing through, because that was all Corey that round, other than a few flashes of brilliance. But Fluxwave's able to get the distance he likes, setting traps, developing his offense through those portals. Here comes the fireball. Here comes the trap. The hitboxes on those are just really weird. You can be like 3 feet behind the thing and it hits you.
Okay, Fluxwave decided to use drive reversal, and he was not able to really push any advantage after that.
Sorry.
That is the level 2. And a very strong level 2. I mean, Chun Li is one of the few characters that can actually combo after one of her supers like that.
Yeah, just an unbearable tornado, just really brought into a vortex of hell once she's kicking you in the face. And here we go, burnout in play, but that throw's gonna do it. 1-0
Wow,
Corey.
the first time Fluxwave decided to use that amnesia, use that counter, which is so powerful right now. I mean, it counters throws, but Corey was already ready for it for the very first time Fluxwave decided to use it. And that right there is the mark of a good player, knowing his options, even if the other player is not really using them the entire time, just being aware that they have those options is so important.
Good attempt with the cross up there. That was some good thinking. And getting the teleport to get behind Chun-Li, get behind Corey. Already blocking the 100 pity. And here's something good about Fluxwave. He will not just sit in the corner turtling. He knows when to take the fight to you. He is so used to playing this kind of owning. He knows when he should take his foot off the gas and when to hammer it down.
And hammering it down he is. He is now one round up over Corey right now, trying to take the next game, trying to even up the score.
I mean, Fluxwave didn't drop a game until tonight. So, until this one is what I'm trying to say. So, wow, that was completely butchered. You go ahead.
He is feeling quite the challenge right now, as Corey is no slouch. Corey is not to be taken as some random Guilty Gear player. He is ready to fight in Street Fighter 6.
Yes, Corey's experience shining through, not at all intimidated by this zoning, but maybe should be a little intimidated because look at that health and look how low that drive meter is, and look at Fluxwave sitting on his level 3, but he might not need it. Is he going to? A little
Oh my god, he finds the hit. Crouching medium kick. Level 2. Get in a combo after here. Okay, now you're bringing Fluxwave all the way to the corner. This is the worst situation you could be in, but Fluxwave mashing out does not want any of that. He does not want Corey to do anything right there. He knows that he can take the risk too, especially with how much more life he had.
Yes, and if you're getting coached and you're learning the basics of fighting games, you'll probably be told never mash out of the corner. Be holding back, be ready to block, avoid the meaties, avoid the pressure. But the thing about rules is knowing when to break them. And Fluxwave Zed is so experienced that he knows when to break the rule, and he's already tied the set up and has a commanding life lead.
Here we go. Corey trying to get something started right now. But, you know, there's the Fluxwave is getting a bunch of these small hits right now, and they are adding up to Corey. I mean, he doesn't need any big combos at this point. You can just zone Corey out.
Yes, absolutely.
Play patient. No need to press aggression at this point. You are the zoner. You are in your zone. And Corey is the one into that zone.
If you're a good enough player and your opponent is of a low enough level compared to you, you could probably just jab them to death. A lot of new players try to just go for the big stuff. They want to go for the huge combos. They want to whip out their supers constantly. But no, the basic bare bones offense gets you just as far, if not farther. Look at Fluxwave's composure and control. And now here comes the critical R. It is over. That is going to kill.
And with a perfect, the 7 golden letters. That is what we love to see so early into the bracket today. Fluxwave is going to be riding this momentum going straight into his next match. And
what a statement he made.
Yeah, he definitely made a statement. I mean, Corey was looking really strong in the very first part of the match, but man, Fluxwave really brought it back together and really put the beating on Corey. I mean, Corey couldn't get anything started after that. He had that few glimpses of genius at the start, and then Fluxwave was just beating him with that stick. Stay away from me. I'm not letting you in here anymore.
I mean, to be fair, there were flashes of genius throughout that fight. It was pretty back and forth if you get down to brass tacks. But the thing with Fluxwave Zed and a player of his experience in general is they know how to adapt. They know how to learn their opponent's playbook. To use a cliche phrase, they download their opponent. I think that first game was a download game, just figuring out how Corey works.
And downloaded him, he did. Fluxwave was really just countering every single thing that Corey was doing. You know, Corey was constantly getting those anti-airs, constantly getting those jump-ins before. But now here we have Fluxwave just doing the same thing to Corey. And now Corey was just, I don't know, wasn't able to really do anything after that.
Yeah, once he was forced to take his foot off the gas, Corey was never really able to build the same momentum. It felt like Fluxwave had an answer for everything. And all credit to Corey, he still did good. I mean, I can see another world where he just 2-0s Fluxwaves or something, because Fluxwaves really got where he did through adaptation and quick thinking and composure. None of those are mutually exclusive. You need all three. And what it brings to mind is there's a sumo saying where a wrestler needs three things: technique, body, spirit. And right there, Fluxwaves had showed all three.
Sounding a lot like E-Honda right now. Are you sure you're not a Honda player?
I will be once I get the game. Doskoi!
Oh my god. Oh, another Honda player. We don't need that.
Interesting. JP versus Candy. Cammy. Candy Cammy. Did you? Varik, just dive kick. Let's see if just dive kick lives up to their name. I mean, whole lot of options off that one dive kick. You master that move. You know, to bring another saying into things, you don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks once. You fear the one who's practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah, you can say that again. And dive kick. I mean, don't even get me started on how strong dive kicks are in Street Fighter. I mean, there's like I think it was 3 things that Street Fighter players always hate. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's 3 or 4. I don't remember the exact amount, but the 3 I can think of off the head, there was the Rekkas. There was... What was the other one? There's Rekkas. I know dive kick was one of them. Trying to think of what the last one was supposed to be. You know, again, I'm forgetting. I had the thing in my head at that moment, and now
Street Fighter players will.
Forgot, but...
Yeah, I was just going to say, they'll complain about anything. But speaking of complaining, I'm not going to complain when this match starts. We are underway. Varik versus Just Dive Kick. Here we go. Hey, a spiral arrow is not a dive kick, just so you know.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all.
I think there's a dive kick variant, but I don't know. Maybe it was funny.
We called a bargain bin.
A gentleman's dive. That's dive kick at home.
Dive kick at home. Yeah, exactly. And Varik, oh my god, was looking so dominant. He got that early start and was that early pressure. Just dive kick doesn't do anything right there.
Maybe he should have dive kicked.
Oh yeah, maybe he should. I mean, he didn't jump really at all that time.
Yeah, I mean, we were joking, we were having fun, but dive kick not really having a lot of chance to use Cammy's versatile arsenal, really keeping their feet on the ground. That spiral arrow was a good punish counter, but staying too close and not really being maneuverable enough and going to eat that, I believe, level 2.
That is a level 3 right there if I've ever seen one.
That's a level 3.
Oh my god, just exploding. And another in-your-face command grab. This is such a different gameplay as we saw from Fluxwave earlier. Varik is just using those command grabs. He knows that Just Dive Kick is having trouble dealing with it just like that, and keep on using it. I mean, if it keeps on working, why not stop using? Why don't you just keep using it? It's working.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm reminded of that infamous stream Justin Wong with that kid in Mortal Kombat. The kid starts telling him, "Hey, stop spamming this one move over and over." He's like, "No, you're gonna learn how to deal with it. You're learning."
Yeah, and Just Dive Kick is going to learn have to learn how to adapt to those moves, how to adapt to this scary zoning, as Varik is hardly ever getting touched by Just Dive Kick. I mean, it is
that was almost
incredibly dominant. And Varik
already on set point.
On set point. He is going through this so fast. He is speed running. Just Dive Kick any percent, but Just Dive Kick fighting back, using a drive impact of his own. All right, getting a solid combo, baiting out the amnesia. All right, this is going already half-life gone from Varik, and Just Dive Kick is now on a roll. He is on the table with something, but Varik using the drive impact in the corner. Just Dive Kick not able to react and getting hammered with this stick.
Yeah, just dive kick had some glimmers of brilliance there, but getting juggled and caught in the corner. But here comes the wake up spiral arrow, or whatever that is. A punish counter is what it was. Not quite a dive kick, sort of an opposite dive kick. But here comes the critical art, and that is going to be a dominant set from Barik. And can I just say, JP's critical arts and supers look ridiculously brutal. Those are some anime villain moves right there. And just dive kick really just not dive kicked.
JP just straight up kills you in his critical art. I mean, there's all these characters with these super flashy critical arts, and then you just have JP.
He just
here,
murders you.
Just like impaling you and just exploding you from the inside out. The only other one that I can think that's like makes me feel uncomfortable is when Jamie just grabs your throat and just like kills you.
Rips out your windpipe.
There's like the two characters. JP does it short and simple, and then you have Jamie just does it short and simple, and JP just sends everything your way.
Absolutely. I mean, it would almost feel on brand if JP's critical art was he just pulls out a gun and shoots you.
Yeah, I don't know. I would feel that JP would feel right at home in a game like Mortal Kombat. Just make him a little more brutal, and then he has the tools to really be classified as a NetherRealm zoner. That's what everyone's calling him, a NetherRealm zoner. These super strong, versatile zoning tools that are so hard to get by and so dominant.
Yes, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see some of our NetherRealm veterans kind of navigating to JP, because JP feels like a character that you see a lot of like Menat or Poison or Falk veterans go to, kind of like how Marisa is for boxers and dictators. Very, has charged up attacks, very oppressive, lots of plus in frame data, huge damage, this oppressive you don't get to play aura. There's a lot of characters that just translate over very well,
Oh yeah, for sure. And as you were saying, NetherRealm players loving to play JP. I mean, we got Sonic Fox right here playing JP. That's the scariest part.
Yes.
I do not.
I mean, Sonic Fox plays everything.
Oh yeah, and I don't know about you, but he got his start with Mortal Kombat, and that's kind of where his roots really come from.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I don't know about
the
you.
famous 13-0.
I don't want to see Sonic Fox in bracket ever. that just be a one-sided beatdown. He feels at home.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I would be honored to commentate a Sonic Fox match. I don't know about you. Ooh. We have a treat for you now, everybody, for a top 8 qualifier. The recurring champion, the Luke Master Joe Umerogan versus Shoko 2. Let's see it. Let's get underway.
Oh my god, we got a Honda versus Luke, the first Honda of the tournament. And here we go. Joe Umerogan already off to a good start. Luke, super versatile character. He can really just do anything. He can zone, and he can have close-up pressure. He has great damage. He's very simplistic. And Joe Umerogan, we're going to be seeing how he utilizes this character to his fullest to really counter every single aspect of the other opponent's play.
Yeah, but so far taking a lot of punishment, really having to fight from behind, and Shoko 2 is no slouch. To get here, he too owed Daytona and Zalocus, so, really not a slash, not an easy walkover. Joe Umerogan is going to have to fight, and fight he is, but that Ocho throw was there, and the headbutt, and making a statement with the first round of the set.
Yeah, at that point, that was just basically a checkmate. Sumo headbutt into a burnout state. What can you even do at that point?
Yeah, I mean, Sumo is very apt for Street Fighter V because there's all that tension and buildup and intensity, and it's all one big explosion of force and technique, and next thing you know, one opponent is on the ground.
And here we go. Shoko 2 on the ground, using EX headbutt, trying to use those armor frames to break out, but Joe Umerogan was on top of it, blocking it appropriately and getting that perfect. EX headbutt is unsafe compared to all the other headbutts, so he really bet all of his chips on that final move.
This is reminding me of this,
a really good start, going straight to a level 3, but misses. He drops the combo, and Joe Umerogan, this is his time to really lay it on him. Shoko 2 doesn't have the resources for a big explosive combo anymore.
Yeah, Joey Morogan fighting back, but that butt drop was there and into his own critical art, and that might be able to do it, actually. That might kill.
I want to say
So
no.
let's say no.
There we go. Okay.
Not quite. But Shoko 2 definitely fighting from behind. One bad interaction away, but not deterred, not intimidated. There goes the Ocho throw, going for one uppercut, two uppercut, red uppercut, blue uppercut, but not enough.
On the sumo headbutt.
What a perfect parry. What display of skill from Joey Morogan, and what composure. We've been talking about people's composure all night so far, but he is so good at knowing when to turtle, when to open up, and when his opponent is about to make a mistake. And look where he is now.
Another perfect pair on the headbutts. You know that Joey Morogan has this matchup down. He has that timing down. Perfect parries are not easy to get, not at all. And the fact that he is able to get 2 perfect parries in that short amount of time against headbutts, that is really impressive. And with that drive impact, he is closing out. Looking again, super dominant. I don't think he even took a hit right there. I mean, it didn't say perfect.
He took some chip damage.
That he got. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he got chip damage, but that was another gentleman's perfect right there, and he is absolutely brutalizing Shoko 2 in this corner, barely able to get up, barely able to get into this, and that's going to do it. That DDT is a perfect KO, and our returning champion is going on ahead. I mean, wow. Shoko 2 starts off 2-0ing everybody and then gets 2-0'd himself. What a set that was. It reminds me of, like, there was this fight in Pride FC where Don Fry was in it. I don't remember the opponent's name, Akiyama, I think. And they just come out of the corners and they're just slugging each other right in the face, just all over the place, just an absolute brawl.
And I will say this one game in particular, this one set, really puts into perspective how good Joey Morogan is at the game already. He's gotten those 2 perfects. You can tell he has the drive gauge system down, like getting those perfect parries all the time, getting those well-timed drive impacts, and really taking advantage of the opportunities he's being given. And it's super impressive how Shoko 2 was able to get this far, but Joey Morogan really just making it seem like this was a round 1 kind of situation. And I'm not to say that Shoko 2 wasn't able to really get anything started, but Joey Morogan was looking super dominant. I mean, he got 2 perfects. That is insanity.
That doesn't happen every day. I mean, you just don't see that usually. Joe Morogan just understands his character so well and clearly was labbing that specific matchup, clearly preparing himself if he ever has to fight a Honda, because that was textbook dominance and destruction. But of course, the night's not over for Shoko 2, who is down in losers now. And who knows, there's some hope of clawing back up there. I mean, what's sumo except the art of excelling through adversity?
Body, spirit, and mind. right at play right there. Okay.
All right. We've got Remy Celeste up next.
Tactics versus Remy Celeste. Remy Celeste, we have a Dalsum on the table. Tactics, we haven't seen quite yet on stream yet, but this is the qualifier for top 8. Whoever wins this is going to be moving forward. And and whoever loses is also going to be going to losers and having to really claw their way back up. But if Tactics was able to make it this far, we might see more of him later on if he loses, or if Remy Celeste loses. We don't know yet. And that's the most exciting part to me.
Yeah, the beauty of Street Fighter 6 is you can't write anybody off. There's no worse character. Everyone is so good that I've seen everybody having a case made for them that they are the best character. I'm not sure there even is a best character. There's just a character who fits a player's playstyle best. And anything can happen in this game, which is part of why I like sumo. It feels like anybody can win on any given day. And I am just practically biting my nails here, waiting to see this set take off and see what exactly is going to happen. It's like being at the top of a roller coaster.
And I mean, you know, we have Dalsum, veteran character, and every single other Street Fighter game, he's always been rated low, I feel, at like the start of each game. But as the meta progresses, as people start to figure out the game, Dalsum just skyrockets all the way to the top. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
So Remy Celeste already proving that he can, like, he's already making work of Dalsum. People don't think Dalsum is good right now, but Remy Celeste hopefully can, as he keeps on going into the tournament, is able to prove us wrong.
Hopefully. I mean, it seems like it happens every time.
Wrong, but prove everybody watching wrong if they think that Dalsum isn't a strong character.
I mean, Remy has been a dominant, oppressive presence throughout this bracket so far. We've only seen a glimpse of them on screen, but they are just 2-0ing everybody so far, and it's like nobody has an answer to him. It's almost reminding me of the final season of Street Fighter V, where everybody was insisting that Dalsim was a gift from the fighting game gods, where just nobody seemed to know how to deal with him.
That is crazy. Having that kind of complicated character and having that much room to grow as a character, that even when he's considered top tier, one of the best, even when he's like all the way up that high and people are trying to figure out that character, people are always fighting that character, trying to figure him out, and people still don't know how to fight him. And that's one of the scariest things that you can have when you're playing any fighting game character, or one of the most powerful things you can have if you're playing the character, is being able to catch people off guard, even if they're familiar, even if they think they're familiar with the matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, he's just such a slippery, confusing, oppressive character. And here we go. Luke versus Dalsim, getting a bit of cheek puffing going on, a little bit of a taunt. And this is going to be an interesting match because it's a very straightforward, all-rounder character against the incredibly tricky Dalsim, who is already keeping tactics at bay. You know, some good parries there, some good sandblasts, but just no real way through. Remy keeps dodging and weaving and teleporting away and going back. The control of the range is exceptional. There's some good parries going on from tactics, but he can't seem to get in.
And here we go, Remy Celeste throwing out those buttons, throwing out those fireballs. Dalsim's fireball is especially powerful in a game like Street Fighter 6 right now. I mean, it got buffed in its speed, so it is able to keep up with Luke's Sandblast, and that I find super crazy. Sandblast, notable for being one of the strongest, one of the fastest fireballs.
Oh, wow, look at that. Already, he was forced into the corner, but he masterfully used that teleport, able to use that to start off a combo, and now it's tactics in the corner, forcing Remy Celeste back a little. You know, this is already more than Kaki was really able to do, but still back in the corner, and gets caught coming in with that anti-air, and what a dominant first round we just saw. That is really Remy Celeste making a statement.
Here we go. Okay, drive rush in. All right, tactics finally starting to show that he has those combos. He's getting something started. Here we go. Wall splat. Build up that damage. Build up that meter.
You can't tell a whole lot from just one round. Good punish counter. I really like that throw. It's like he's giving you a noogie. It's like he doesn't even think you're worth a proper punch to the face. He's like, come here, you little brat.
Yeah, I love it too. He just winds up, just smacks him in the side of the head and just tosses him like, I have no more business with you. I want you out of my face.
But maybe a little more business at store. Tactics doing an admirable job fighting back. Remy puts himself into burnout, and here comes the critical art.
Wow, and look at all of those conversions. Remy Celeste, every single time he's getting that hit, he is making the most of it.
Yes, absolutely. It feels like he never gets just one hit. Every single one goes on into a full combo, or at least a radical realigning of the strategic situation. It feels like he moves with purpose. He is never just hitting a button. Every single button press means something.
And that right there is the mark of a real, very strong zoner, is being able to be intentional with your attacks, because when you send out an attack, you are being very committal. You are leaving yourself susceptible to being whiff punished, to being hit by any strong move. Oh my god, what a fantastic backdash from Remy Celeste. And that throw was such an important game-changing, game-setting pace right there. Because now Tactics is in burnout in the corner, and Remy Celeste not looking to let him out. This is a great situation for him, and Tactics is trying to claw his way out, but to no avail.
Yeah, the problem is that Remy is too composed. He's seen too many Lukes, and he just ate a Sandblast, but you'll notice anytime he eats a combo, anytime he gets driven into the corner, he resists the urge to mash, to try to fight out of it. And right there, he maintained control even though he was on the back foot, put himself on set point by tricking Tactics into landing on the fireball. He has read Tactics like a book, all set.
Yeah, can we talk about how he's oh my god, and that drive impact!
Whoa! Look at that.
He has level 3. Okay, not looking to spend too much meter right there. Okay,
not looking to spend too much.
Playing the fundamentals.
Yes, his drive meter awareness and really knowledge of when to spend what he's got is top tier so far. And tactics is comparatively kind of a brawler. He's doing good work when he gets in, but it's so hard for him to get in, and he's always so low. And that burnout right there might be decisive. It was. Remy Celeste moving on ahead to top 8.
It always looked like he was on that back foot in that round. I mean, Remy Celeste was quite literally reading tactics as a book. The way he just levitates over every sandblast and the way he's able to punish every single thing that I mean, every single thing that Tactics throws out, Tactics is trying to get back in. He's trying to get something started, and Remy Celeste just basically reads them. These are not reactions. Like the way you can't react to Sandblast the way that Remy Celeste is doing it. You have to be anticipating.
It's not reacting; it's knowing what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
knowing exactly what Tactics wants in that situation.
Yes, exactly. And it's going to sound a little cliche, but characters like Dalsim are knowledge checks, and everyone runs into 100 Lukes playing online like every day. But how often do you see a Dalsim? It feels like Tactics is a player who's never seen a Dalsim before, and he gets the idea of getting in on Zoner, but once he was read and once Remy really started to unleash the toolbox, he had no answers. He didn't know what to do. He was taking a test for a class he's never attended.
That is something so scary about those unpopular characters too. I mean, you have those really strong characters that people rate really high, and people are always playing those characters. You're always getting a bunch of experience with that. I mean, take a character like Ramlethal from Guilty Gear Strive. Everyone's playing as that character. Everyone knows that matchup. And even if people really think that that character is top tier, it never feels like those characters can really make it that far because of it. And so seeing those characters that aren't played as much, and being able to knowledge check people, show people that, hey, my character can fight too, and you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it also reminds me of Virtua Fighter, the character Taka Arashi, who he has a completely different rule set. They made a weight system just for him, basically, and so much of the normal stuff just doesn't work on him. And he just eats newbies alive because they don't know how to deal with him. The rules are suddenly completely different from what they've been learning. But his effectiveness starts to wane a bit in the top levels because you're starting to play against people who've seen 100 Takarashis before.
Yeah, and I would compare a character like that to Marissa, honestly. Super strong character right now, but as we're kind of just progressing, it feels like that the toolset is going to become a lot weaker as it goes on.
Alrighty, we are going down to losers bracket, everybody. We have had a heck of a bracket going on down there because that is a regular battle royale. People fighting for their chance to stay in this. And our friend Shoko is actually not next, but he is in round 5 and still in this, as is Aokiji and a lot of other players. We've got Dark Synth, we've got Just Dive Kick waiting. We've got Austin Tactic versus Voltamp about to play. Hokuto and Tran. There's just so many good players down here. I mean, it's not CEO, but the level of competition is very, very real.
Yeah, not everyone can go out to CEO. So the people that do come out, still strong, still showing that they have it in them to make a good show of their characters. And here we go.
Absolutely.
Service versus Kobe. Going for the Luke against Ken. Love the alternate outfit. Show that he loves the character.
They should make a mod where they're like each one has the other character's outfit, and it's like, well, one of us has to change. I don't know. Maybe it's funnier in my head. But our friend Kobe is making a fighting stand. Unfortunately, a bit of a life deficit here. But both of them have the same amount of drive. Both of them pairing each other pretty well. A bit of a game of anti-airs and cross-up attempts there. But Kobe just a little short. Maybe measuring the distance not quite right. This
honestly feels like just honest Street Fighter. They're just playing it patient, waiting for the other person to press something, and then they're taking their advantage. This isn't Street Fighter 6. This is just honest Street Fighter. But you know what? Honestly, can take you so far. And here we go. Kobe going for that drive impact. Get that wall splat.
Absolutely.
Wall splat against Service and gain that damage laying on and taking out Service already.
That was a pretty quick first round. I think maybe he took my commentary about having a hard time getting in personally. And speaking of not getting in, Service ramming himself right onto that Hadoken. And right now, you've got characters who were both in the beta, in both betas, all 3 betas if you count the open one. Luke's been in the demo, Ken wasn't in the demo, but you've had ages to master the characters and their versions of Street Fighter 6 and all their related idiosyncrasies. So you're seeing very, very well developed characters up against each other tonight.
All right. Just staying in the corner, playing it patient, using those lights, not really committing to too much, and finding his opportunity to get out. And getting out, he is just slowly walking forward, but Kobe is just keeping him in there. He finds the hit, and boom, you are directly back in. And this combo
And
should
here it
kill, going
comes.
straight to a level 3
should.
just for that extra bit of flashiness and sealing it. Kobe taking that first game against Service.
Absolutely, and making it look simple. I mean, he had some trouble in that first round, but for the most part, that was all Kobe with a very disciplined, composed gameplay for Ken, and Service having a bit of a hard time adjusting to it. You know, he looked very good at the start of this set, but you'd better find some answers fast, and this standoff in neutral is not it.
I like how Kobe is using those parries to react to the Sandblast, just so he doesn't get the drive gauge whittled away by Luke's Sandblast and Luke's zoning. But you can't parry every single one of them. You're going to have to get towards him at some point. You know, Ken's not a very strong fireball character. He wants to get in.
Yeah, too defensive, it becomes a game where you have to get lucky every time and your opponent only has to get lucky once. You do not want to be on the wrong end of that equation. And so far, Kobe doing a good job staying out of it, but Service with the life lead, starting to claw back in here and starting to really put himself back on the map. Kobe very low on health, gets a good throw there, forcing him back into the corner, but Service doing a good job fighting out of it. But here comes that punish counter. I might have spoken too soon. That is a world of hurt into the super, and that might be able to not quite kill him, but look at that last sliver of health, and Service mounting his last stand. Can he do it? He does. Wow, what a round. I didn't even mean to talk through that whole round. They just took it from each other back and forth so hard that it ended up finishing before my sentence did.
Yeah, your sentence can't finish and the round is already over, as you said before. This game is so fast, and it's just constant pressure, constant aggressiveness from these two players.
Yeah, and I like that they're not just sitting here unga-bungaing at each other. There is calculation here. You can see them resetting to kind of their maximum reach. You can see them probing at each other. It almost feels like watching an MMA fight, which is appropriate. But eating a punish counter is not where Service wants to be. Luke, not very good at taking those. All right, forcing him in the corner, but we've seen Kobe fight out of corners before.
Okay, just trying to go for that tick pressure, but Kobe finding his way, mashing out, but now he's in burnout. This is the worst situation you can be in. Betting it all on the level 1. That's really all you can do right there. He's not looking to hold it, and Service punishing him for that. Service taking the game and evening it against Kobe. 1-1. We're in losers. Whoever loses is out of the bracket. And it is anyone's game at this point.
It is indeed. Both of them having the measure of each other and proving that they all deserve to be in here. Neither of them backing down an inch, but Kobe taking the fight to him. He's really not happy about dropping that last game, I think. He can probably feel that that was his game to lose and that he really has to step it up from here. And this is not how you do it. That is some sinister throw moves that Service is dishing out.
Oh, he does not go for the fourth throw. Kobe is ready to take that fourth one.
Wisely backing away from the corner. You know, Service gave him the way out and he took it, but getting wall splatted for his trouble, maybe a little too much passivity, getting through with the reversal, resetting to neutral, fireball war inbound, using it to cover the drive rush. That's some clever offense right there. I like that he's not just matching, he is thinking.
And you know, Kobe, he's not trying to engage in the fireball war right now. He's probably going to throw out a fireball or two just to keep the distance. but this is the worst. This is a bad situation for Ten because Luke is going to win that fireball war all the time. Ken cannot hold up, so Ken needs to be able to get in and lay that pressure, and that is what Kobe has been doing, has been successful at. But
wow,
oh my God, those counter hit trays! We are just pressing buttons here.
Now, perfectly symmetrical violence. Never solved anything, but they both got level 3. They both got similar drive meters. They've both got similar amounts of health. Not so much anymore. Kobe with the throw loops now. He's saying, yeah, remember last round? Not going for a third one. Sometimes knowing when not to press is the hard thing. And eating a sweep, blocking the cross up, trying to keep himself in this, trying to keep Service oppressed, but so close to burning out.
Okay, this is a fantastic hit for Service. Not able to combo into any supers, but now he's in the corner. He has Kobe's movement limited. Kobe fighting back out. Okay. Go just back and forth. Tiny hits, tiny hits.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Service
and that might do it. That's probably
level 3. He wants this round to be over, and over it is. Service taking that game over Kobe just barely 2-1, and Service is going to be moving on in losers, if I'm not mistaken, to top 8.
Yes. And really, if I'm Service, I put down the controller, I get up, I walk away, I go get a drink of water, because what a set that was. I mean, Kobe goes down, that's the end of his night, but what a fight he put up. There were some real glimmers of brilliance there, and I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of, especially as someone coming in from the local scene. He really tore things up tonight, and I hope to see him again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Making it this far is always insane. I mean, if you think about it, and every 50% of any bracket is going to go 0-2. That's just how it goes. And the fact that he was able to not only go above that 50%, but go even further than that. I mean, what he made it to losers round 5 or losers round 4, and was able to make it to winners round 3, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
being able to make it that far, having that good of a score is nothing to scoff at.
Absolutely not, especially when you consider the size of this bracket and how many talented players we have. I mean, it was actually winners round 2, but he lost to Bonsai, who was a very, very good player.
I feel like that makes it even more impressive, you know what I mean? Like making it out of losers, making it through losers to losers round 4 like that. Because at that point, there's nothing else that you can lose at that point. If you lose, you're out. Winners, at least you have that safety net for losers round.
You don't net just dive kick with Cammy, because we are seeing Ostentatious coming out with the Marissa, and it's scary to see for me for a round or so. I have to plug in my laptop.
Gotcha. And you know what? I want to say this is super interesting that Marissa, this is the first Marissa we've seen so far. Marissa's a super popular character. I'm surprised we haven't seen as many as we have. And Ostentatious showing that Marissa is as dominant as ever. Just dive kick, fighting back though, getting a very good punish counter, and this is going to lead to some decent damage. Going for a throw. Ostentatious looking low on drive gauge as just dive kick is keeping up that pressure, keeping up that momentum, and not letting him do anything. Okay, giving him a bit of room, trying to keep that position, but Ostentatious managing to flip the sides and keep him in the corner now. The sides are swapped out of the turntables, but just dive kick, mashing out and getting the hits needed to take out Ostentatious for that round. Immediate drive rush in, tries to go for the throw, and just dive kick is on top of it, not letting him get those opportunities to deal that deadly damage that Marissa is known for. And the punish counter throw. Okay, now you are stunned. That's such a scary thing to be in when getting put in burnout like that in the corner, and just dive kick, finishing it with the level 3. Just for good measure, keep it simple, keep it safe, and here we go. Just dive kick with the perfect KO 2, taking it 1-0 over Ostentatious in losers round 5.
was, I mean, just dive kick showing so much composure there and really acquitting themselves well compared to how their last game went on stream. The big thing about Marissa is she's a bully character. She's an intimidating character. She wants you to feel like you have no options and really get you to mentally surrender and defeat yourself before the fight even starts. So just dive kick refusing to give in like that is a big step up and going to make this a really tough fight for Ostentatious. I mean, look at that throw loop. That is beautiful stuff. Putting himself in like burnout. That.
Oh my god, just dive kick looking as clean as ever. On set point against Ostentatious.
Already.
Gets the punish counter. Already off to a great start. Ostentatious try to mash out, getting punish countered yet again. Just dive kick is not letting him do anything. He went for the dive kick there, and unfortunately it did not work. Sometimes you can't just dive kick. Especially against a character like Marissa, indeed. And just run up
and
run
Marissa
up
kind of dive kicks. Yeah, it's interesting that Ostentatious has been so much more airborne than just dive kick. Like, you would kind of expect that to be the other way around with Cammy. And getting that super off, that is going to hurt. That is a hard knockdown. That is almost burnout. Just dive kick going down. But, of course, Ostentatious has to be perfect two times now. And just dive kick only needs one more round.
And here we go. Just dive kick wants that round. Or again, another great start. Just dive kick is always getting some pretty good starts in these rounds, but Ostentatious is always managing to fight back, claw his way out. He's Marissa. I mean, he just needs 1-2 hits, maybe 3, and like, you know, just dive kick is dead. Marissa will kill you if she touches you at any point.
That feels like it goes for most of the characters, though. It feels like as soon as they start pressing buttons, you die. But especially with Marissa,
I feel like this is like especially with Marissa. You know what I mean? I mean, she has the armor, and then when she hits you, I mean, I've seen her combo damage is so much higher. Like the average combo damage for her is so much higher than the rest of the cast.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with Marissa is she's the only character I know of who can just shred through your armor like it's paper. And once she's gotten you in the corner like that, she is just mauling you like a lion on a carcass. And look at this, even in burnout, Ostentatious' Marissa is a terrifying foe, already beating dive kick from corner to post, eating a spiral arrow. So dive kick's still in this and really not going to give up. But what a hill he has to climb.
In the hill, he is climbing, taking out Ostentatious and leading himself back to set point. He is back to make a statement in you know, oh my god, what a fantastic anti-air. We haven't barely been seeing too many of these. Another anti-air.
Oh, whew. All right, but Ostentatious, smart deployment of the armor, good combos, putting himself in burnout to pile on the hurt. Good air-to-air combat there. Good jump-ins, good everything, really. Just dive kick getting smothered in the corner, waiting for their opening, which might not come. The burnout is still there. Dive kick so close to burnout. Can dive kick make it through this? It's not looking like it. That KO on the cross-up attempt is there, and now they're both on set point. Who's coming out of this alive?
Just dive kick looking a bit antsy just to take back that advantage, but you can't get antsy. The moment you get antsy against a character like Marissa, she is going to take those faults and run with it. And look at that damage. I think this is going to do an easy 50-60% even. Jeez. Yeah, about 55% of your health just gone like that in an instant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Marissa is a big lady, and honestly, kind of a strength training goal, but that's for another stream. Already dive kick on death's door. Let's see what Ostentatious can do, because that is a tall mountain to climb for dive kick, but he has climbed it before.
Oh my god, he has.
And let's see what happens. All right, down in the corner.
Another anti-air. He has had 3 answers at this point. He is on point.
Yes, this is going
the shimmy!
to be...
This should be it! Into the level 3! It's taking it over Ostentatious! What a comeback!
What a comeback indeed, within pixels of dropping the whole set, but taking it over, taking it through, lessing out through the barrage, not bullied by Ostentatious, just dive kick moves on to top 8.
Showing that he is not scared of that hot health. Do not be scared when you are that low on health, because, you know, as long as you're still in it, you can make it back. And
Absolutely.
Just Dive Kick is proving that right here, right now.
Absolutely. I mean, Just Dive Kick played everything right there, and you could really see that the temptation was there to kind of fold and give up under the pressure, but just not doing it, not letting himself count himself out. And Ostentatious, so close to finishing it off, but just didn't quite have it, wasn't prepared for how tenacious a player he was in there with.
Mm-hmm. Both players really wanting to make it out of losers. There's only one round there's only one game that you can, or one set that you can lose before you're out of the tournament. In this, so single set you go into, it's your last chance. And both players knew that. Both players fought like their life depended on it. They wanted to stay in this bracket, but Just Dive Kick just wanted it just a bit more, as we saw in that final moment. Able to secure it, able to seal it out so clean on his part, getting every anti-air. I mean, that's basically what every Street Fighter player wants to be all the time. You know what I mean? Just Dive Kick really represented it.
Yeah, every player who goes into a fighting game wants the big comeback moment. They want the Daigo parry. They want coming out through burnout and a pixel of health. They want to do the reverse sweep, you know, down 2-0 and getting 2-0 or whatever. Everyone wants that, and Dive Kick got it. And hopefully for him, this is going to be the start of a beautiful bracket. But everyone coming in tonight is so good. The level of competition is just off the charts.
Yes, sir. And right now, it looks like we might be going to top 8 next.
Yes, winners top 8.
Winners top 8.
Alrighty, we've got a treat for everybody coming up. Joe Rogan versus Remy Celeste, the Master Luke versus the Master Dalsim. This is gonna be an absolute slobber knocker, everybody. This is gonna be some incredible Street Fighter. I hope you're ready. Salty Boy is ready. K-Vox is ready. Once the stream is ready, this is gonna be a treat. What masterful players. And honestly, it's kind of a shame they're already coming up against each other, because that feels like it could be a grand finals match.
I feel like so many matches in this top 8 can be grand finals contenders, and that's what's so crazy right now. I mean, so many players over at CEO proving their worth over there, but now we have some players who didn't make it there, and even those players who are not looking to go to CEO are still putting up just as strong of a fight as ever and proving their worth here and now in Digital Havoc today.
That's something I like about Street Fighter, both as a game and like if you look into the lore, you can find strong people anywhere. Anywhere you go, you can find people who are as dedicated and skilled as you, who have what it takes to challenge the top names. I mean, we've seen people come out of relative obscurity and just start kicking everybody's butt. And it is wonderful to see, and really a statement of how diverse this field can be.
Yeah, you know, Street Fighter 6. New number. Gone are the days of Street Fighter 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's not talk about 1. That doesn't exist. But Street Fighter 6.
Has there ever been competitive Street Fighter 1? I mean, I'd kind of like to see it, but
I want to see that. I need to see a major tournament just have like one of those on the side, just a Street Fighter 1 tournament. That'd be one of the funniest things to see.
Well, I'll tell you what's not funny. This fight already off with a bang. They didn't even wait for us to get in the room. Already throwing everything in the kitchen sink at each other. Look at that defense from Remy Celeste, just weathering the storm. Hasn't even taken any damage yet. Probably about to, because I just commentators cursed it. But look at him mixing up Joe Rogan right at the beginning of the set. Joe Rogan getting smothered, able to put himself back in the fight with that wall splat, getting a good combo going, forcing Remy Celeste into the corner, but Remy Celeste, an expert at getting out. That punish counter was there, already getting juggled again, but can Joe Rogan keep this up against someone so slippery? He can't. That is the round, and what a firecracker of a round that was. Woo! I didn't even get to take a breath.
Gotta drink water. Gotta stay in it. And here we go. And Joe Ume Rogan showing that he is still in it. Already off to a fantastic start in this match. Remy Celeste, but Remy Celeste putting up a fight of his own. Joe Ume Rogan low on drive gauge as Remy Celeste keeps hammering away at his block and constantly keeping him on his toes, keeping him guessing. And look at that fire armor breaking through the drive impact. Joe Ume Rogan knew what Remy Celeste wanted to do, but with so many hits like that, you can't just drive impact in his face. And look at that. What did I just say? You cannot drive impact in his face as Remy Celeste gets that counter drive impact and takes that first game from Joe Ume Rogan.
Yes. It is now 1-3, everybody. So, you know, still a lot of Street Fighter to go. Joe Ume Rogan not out of this yet. But what a statement that was from Remy Celeste. We are seeing masters at work, people who know their playbooks in and out. It's kind of a contest of knowledge. It's an I know, you know, I know, you know, and who's going to have the last no. And so far, Joe Ume Rogan putting himself back in this fight with a punishing throw loop. And really, even to be fair to him, in the last game, you saw Remy Celeste was having to work a lot harder to get out of this. I'm sorry. Get out of the same jet. I'm so sorry that it went on air.
In the blink of an eye, in the blink of a sneeze, the round is over.
Now you see why I'm wearing the mask on camera. My allergies have been just brutal. But speaking of brutal, look at this beating Joe Ume Rogan is putting down. I think he's figured out Dalsim a bit, but Remy Celeste knows his ways around, knows how to get through. Already switching things up, already flipping the script on Joe Ume Rogan, who is in burnout.
Okay, setting out those fireballs, doing those teleports, always being tricky with his movement, keeping Joe Ume Rogan guessing. You cannot be complacent against a character like Dalsim, and here we go, just going straight into it. DI putting himself into burnout, it doesn't matter, and here we go. Okay, nice DP to anti-air that teleport. He is now realizing when Remy Celeste is going to teleport and now countering accordingly. Jumping over those fireballs, keeping Remy Celeste from wanting to anti-air him. But Remy Celeste getting the hit he needs, going straight into a level 3, slapping him a bunch, and now drilling him straight into the center of the earth. That is dead. Remy Celeste taking that round. We are on the final round here for this game.
Yep, but not the set. Remember, we're in 1-3 territory now.
Oh yeah.
If I'm Joe Ume Rogan, I maybe consider dropping a game or two just to get the download, just to let my opponent overextend himself. And already going for the critical art, I don't think Joe Ume Rogan is interested in that strategy. He wants to get back in this with interest.
He wants back in here now, and he knows that this is going to be a very critical match that he needs to win. There's always the chance that you can make it back with a reverse 3-0, but that's not super common. And so Joe Ume Rogan knows that he needs to hold his ground. He knows he needs to take this round in order to preserve his momentum. But it's going to be so hard, especially when he was in burnout for so long. Remy Celeste really showing that he's able to keep him in that kind of situations. But Joe Ume Rogan dropping that combo at the end, but getting a throw anyways and closing it out against Remy Celeste. We are 1-1. Still 1-3 though, so we still need 2 more games in order to win and move on in top 8.
And Joe Ume Rogan, as you said, winning that vital second game, because even though I just said it can be a valid strategy to kind of give a bit of momentum, give a bit of ground, you have to consider the mental stack and the mental pressure. If you go down 2-0, it can feel like you have to climb Mount Everest to keep your hopes alive. And there is so much mental activity going on in any one game, it can feel like all the trouble was for nothing.
Yeah, and here we go. Oh my god, countering him with the drive impact. Joe Ume Rogan showing that, you know what? I am just going to keep pressing this button until you deal with it better. And Remy Celeste was able to counter drive impact him several times, but most of the time it seems like Joe Ume Rogan is being able to successfully get these drive impacts on him when he's least able to expect it, when the mental stack is just high enough in order for it to work.
Yes,
and just like that, again, another fantastic punish counter, drive impact, putting Dalsim straight into the corner, but Dalsim does have teleports though. You gotta be careful. Like just like that, Remy Celeste
and you can see
turning him all around.
And I like that Joey Rogan knows when it's going to happen and how to react, but in that one instance, he was just a little too far away. He just didn't. He didn't have the right spacing. He had the right thought, but the body wasn't there. He had the mind, he had the spirit, but the body wasn't quite right. And now, still quite ahead, about to take the second game. Here we go. That's game 2. And we're looking at a potential 3-1. We are looking at the same territory I was just saying. And I think they thought it was first to 2, or it just wasn't set quite right. Yep, we have to go get them. We have to. Yep.
Bring them back in here. We got one more, or 2 more,
yeah,
depending on if
here
Remy
we go.
Celeste is able to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, he could. He is such a composed, skilled player, and you can tell he's not at all rattled. He's not afraid of what Joey Rogan can offer. There's no fear in him. He just keeps coming, and that's actually kind of an imposing thing to put in front of your opponent, an imposing plate to make them eat, because you can feel like nothing you can do is breaking your opponent. You can feel like nothing I do puts this guy out. He keeps coming. What do I even have? Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we have an update. There was a disconnect, and Joe Rogan actually goes over 3-1. He goes into winner's top 8, but I'm sure it was a very from. I had a bit of a brain blank from Remy, and I'm really sad that we didn't get to see the end of that set. I mean, that was looking absolutely incredible.
It was looking really exciting. That was, I mean, I can tell, you can tell, everyone else can tell, that was such an exciting match to watch, as they were really just showing each other their adaptation, their adaptive skills, and how they're like adjusting to each other and what the other player is doing. I mean, Remy Celeste, a really great start, and then Joey Rogan showed, hey, I can adapt to how you play. Now you're going to have to adapt to how I play. And given that there was a 3-1, Remy Celeste probably wasn't able to really take that back with the proper adjustments needed. But Remy Celeste was getting there. I mean, they're both very strong players. And so, yeah,
you could see that they both had to work for that. They were both seriously sweating through that game. And comparatively, they were kind of cruising through their previous sets. But there, they ran into people of their level, and it became a fight.
Yeah, for sure. Here we go. Okay.
Oh, that is going to be fun.
We have a very interesting match. Flux Waves versus Varik. Both JPs. Both JPs.
We are seeing a veritable sniper duel coming up.
We've seen both of these players so far, and you know, both of them play pretty differently. I mean, here we go. We have Flux Wave, who's playing more of like that traditional zoner type. He kind of wants to keep you out, maybe throwing a few teleports here and there to keep you on your toes. And then we have Varik, on the other hand, who's getting up a little closer, getting into your comfort zone, getting out of his comfort zone, and doing stuff like point blank command grabs and showing that like, hey, you're going to have to react to this. Hey, I'm still powerful in this situation, and unless you can deal with it, I'm going to still be a threat, even if I'm not at full screen.
What I'm interested in is how much do they both love the matchup, because JP is a somewhat rare character to face in lobbies and such, and I wonder how often they've thought about how to fight themselves. I'm sure Fluxway's is very prepared, but
that's definitely the mark of how you know if someone is really, really good at the game or not, I feel, because there's one thing knowing how to play your character, and most people would probably say, hey, like, I know how to play the character, so I know how to fight against my own character. No. That's not how that works. You have to
the whole new world being on the other side
learn
of those
your
moves.
own character's matchup, even if you know your own character. You may know the options, but you don't know how your options can beat their options.
Yes, absolutely. And if you've never been on the other side of your character's attacks and techniques and options, then you are operating with incomplete knowledge, and someone is eventually going to use that against you, because a foolish carpenter goes into a job without understanding all of his tools.
Yeah, you can say that again. I mean, I play Lily online, and I'm here playing against the mirror, and I'm getting blasted by 50-50s left and right. And I'm just like, how do I do this? I do that to other people all the time, but now I'm here on the other side of the on the other side of it,
Mhm.
and I'm in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very dangerous situation to be in. And we're going to see who understands JP deeper. I'm not a betting man usually, and I'm kind of glad that we don't do channel bets on this stream because I would probably have lost every single one so far. But JP in Fluxwave Zed's hands is a monster. And I am really interested in seeing what Farid can do to him and if he can figure out a way through the maelstrom that's coming his way. Because it feels almost like Fluxwave Zed is JP.
You think? I mean, that is definitely a tall order to live up to. Well, let's see if Fluxwave will be able to really carry through with that expectation. I normally also am not a betting man, and also I just kind of don't want to do that because I feel like if I say I have a favorite, then I'm gonna maybe come off as biased or maybe give off that commentator curse, and I'm just like,
as
let's keep it
commentators,
cool.
we're kind of as commentators, we are sort of professionally obligated to stay neutral, aren't we?
The commentator curse. We are like the puppets just controlling the players. And here we go. JP versus JP1 rocking the alt outfit, Fluxwave, showing that he maybe likes the character a bit more, playing it a bit more. And here we go, already off to a good start for both players. Both players showing that they can fight against each other.
Yes, absolutely. Neither of them looking at all lost here, and Farid actually forced Fluxwave's back. One of the rare times this bracket so far we've seen Fluxwave's out on the back foot, but catches him coming in with that sweep and that command grab. Farid knows full well not to let Fluxwave's head in, but landing right on that fireball. Here comes the spike, not getting to trigger it. Fluxwave's head maybe a little too comfortable.
Again. Okay, and Farid really representing the stuff we discussed before. He's using a lot of those feint projectiles, a lot of those point-blank command grabs. And now here we have Fluxwave showing that unlike the previous players, this is something he can react to, something he can adjust to. And with that jump, he was able to punish that command grab accordingly.
I like
It's something
playing all. It feels like he's behind, but he's never out. He was able to just pull that out with a snap of his fingers, and you would not think that Farid was winning most of that round.
Right, oh my god, baiting out the amnesia again. Here we go, we have Fluxwave completely aware of his tools, completely aware of what Farid might do. And here we go, looking dominant as ever with a perfect KO. The 7 magic letters that grace the screen.
Yes, absolutely. This is what I was talking about, where Fluxwave seems to have such an in-depth understanding of this character, and it's probably from his years and years and years of experience playing similar zoners in Street Fighter V. I don't know what Farid's Street Fighter V record is. I've really never seen him before today, but he's up against somebody who really understands the zoner lifestyle.
And
thank you.
Okay. Right now, Farid in burnout. You know, you are JP. You can put aggression when the other players in burnout, but when you're in burnout yourself, what can you do against the other JP? There's not a lot you can do.
Yep. And really managing your burnout is just such an important part of the game, because you don't want to rule yourself out, but you do have to understand your options, how long it'll take you to recover, what you can do while you recover, or if you have a chance to just seal the deal and make it irrelevant.
You know, JP, unlike other characters, he does have those far-reaching projectiles, but he doesn't have those kind of movement options that other characters can use to get past a character like JP. So he's going to have to utilize the drive gauge a little bit more in this matchup, in this mirror. And when you're put in burnout state, you can't reliably drive rush to get in. The other JP can really rain a parade on you and show that he is in control of the match. And just like that, Fluxwave showing he is so dominant. Again, Farid in burnout, constantly throwing out these feints and then ending it with a spire, reacting to Fluxwave, trying to throw out a projectile of his own.
Yes, and something that is an important distinction is when Varric takes punishment, you see him back off. He goes back to the corner, he starts trying to play at range. Fluxwaves will strategically reverse. He'll take a step back or two, create space. You don't see him backing off. You don't see him retreating, if that makes sense. And so far, Varric tends to, like, he takes a punch in the mouth and he goes back to the other corner.
Yes, because, oh my god, in the reset, it's the command grab that was very
Beautiful.
well played. Hit him with the Spire. Where are you jumping and comboing straight into the Spire?
And Varric only one chance left. From now on, he has to play perfectly for 3 straight games, and I'm honestly questioning if he has it. That is not commentator bias, that is simple fact. Fluxwave Zed, a torrent of pain, a tornado of punishment. Varric, few ways out, trying to flail with the cane, turning this into a bit of a fencing match, gets caught on the jump hit. The anti-air wasn't ready, and he's a sliver of life away from going into losers. That teleport was there.
Wow, that anti-air, he was ready for that teleport. That is insane.
He was. Yes, and he's keeping Fluxwaves at bay, but not enough. It is over. Fluxwaves wins the battle of the JPs, the knowledge check, the final example, the final exam, and Varric was barely in that. I'm sorry. I wanted that to be a much, much closer fight, but Fluxwave Zed's knowledge of JP is just so thorough.
Yeah, and that knowledge is really coming into play. You know, as you said, as you were saying throughout the match, Varric constantly backing up, constantly trying to get into the position he would normally want to be in against other characters. But I think what he forgets right now is that he's putting himself into a situation where Fluxwave wants to be in. This is also you're playing against your own character. Fluxwave wants to be in that situation too. And when you're retreating, you're committing to that retreat, and that gives Fluxwave the opportunity to push an advantage that he wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Absolutely. That is why I was saying I wonder how often they play against their own character and lab against themselves, because you could see that Varric would kind of think like a classic zoner. It's like, okay, I'm getting pressured. Let's back off. Let's use some of my ranged normals, find a way in, find a way to cross up my opponent and neutralize his offense. But he's attacking himself. He's fighting against himself. The same options that he has, his opponent has, and he wasn't keeping that in account.
And JP, a character of many.
All right, we are taking a trip down to losers, everybody. Varric is coming back with a chance at redemption against Hokuto. Let's see if he learned any important lessons from that match with Fluxwave Zed, because honestly, in a fight, in sports, in video games, losing is often your best teacher. You can sit down, you can take a breath, and you can say, okay, that didn't go my way. What could I have done better? And usually, honestly, that makes you better in the long run than if you somehow always won. I mean, you can name very, very few athletes in the history of anything who just never lost.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some things that you're going to be learning when you lose. Some things that you're going to be learning when you're playing like weaker characters as well. And here we go. We have Hokuto. Hasn't been able to make it to stream just yet, but here we are in losers round one, losers quarterfinal, playing against Varric, showing that, you know, he can make it far even if he wasn't on stream. And here we go. Let's see how he plays and how he is able to push that pressure onto Varric. Varric not wanting to block because he knows that a single block is going to lead to him being put into burnout, but he's going to put himself into burnout anyways. Hokuto is still very much in control. He was not ready for that drive impact and committed to something that he shouldn't have. Hokuto getting 4 medals already in round 1. If you are Hokuto, your life is set. You got a wife, you got a kid, you got a house, you got your dream job. You are set for life. And with that drive impact, you are getting that damage put on you.
Absolutely. That was a classy first round. Hokuto showing that they cannot be bullied. And Varric, here's something I was thinking about. Playing twice in a row on stream, already getting bullied in the corner. I'm wondering if that is perhaps too much mental stack as he's about to eat a level 3 to wrap the first game. Here we go. That is gonna do it. That is gonna be a dominant first game for Hokuto. I'm going to look up who Hokuto lost to because that was just a masterful play.
All right, going to the second round. Let's see if Reek can make the adjustments needed. Hokuto going straight for a command grab, getting 2 medals already, but getting command grabbed by his own Reek, showing, hey, I have a command grab too, and I'm going to use it. But now Hokuto, you know, reading through Varik's offense, he's not. It feels like zoning is not a problem for Hokuto right now, as he is getting 3 medals and really looking in control. Wow,
and
looking extremely dominant.
Yeah, Hokuto lost to just dive kick, so a very good, aggressive player. And honestly, probably Hokuto's primed to deal with the kind of aggression Varik is offering, especially because, as we just said, Varik is playing very classical zoner and not having a whole lot of luck. I mean, you got the command grab right there, but zoner versus grappler is always a hard fight to have.
And Hokuto really using these long legs of Manon to his advantage, pushing that and pushing it far, ending it with that command grab, or hit grab, taking him for a spin.
Varik hasn't even taken a single round yet, I don't think.
No, he has not. And even then, not in any of the matches, he was not able to get anything started, as Hokuto is looking extremely dominant. Looking like, as a grappler, he has no problems against zoning. He is making his way in.
All right, Varik making this a little more his fight, taking a little bit of the pace away, but taking a beating in return. The punish counter is there. Look at this beautiful judo combo. I am not at all surprised that Manon is such a good judoka and ballerina, because look at that. And Hokuto with the oppressive corner throw. The armor is there, putting himself in burnout, already on set point, about to go ahead, unless Varik becomes a much better player in the space of 90 seconds.
And here we go. I feel like what is making the difference is that Varik is getting too antsy against a character like Hokuto. This is the exact situation Manon as a character wants you in. She wants you always jumping. She wants you being scared of that command grab. And once you're scared of that command grab, she's going to hit you and you're going to lose your life just like that, ending it with the level 3, taking him for a dance. 13 hits. And finally with that 14 hit, but not looking to finish that level 3 off. Communication error, and he is gone.
Absolutely, just dominant. What a display from Hokuto. That was like a buzzsaw on legs. I mean, Hokuto had every answer. That was a bit of a rough first round, very back and forth, but it felt like Varik, the legs fell off very quickly. It felt like watching a sprinter and they've had to run too many races in a row and they're just gassed. They're just limping towards the finish line. Varik, very strong player, hoping to see him around a lot more, but just didn't have any answers this time.
Yeah, here we go. That was losers quarterfinals. Now Hokuto moving on to losers semifinals, and whoever wins between Remy Celeste and Just Dive Kick, we might be seeing Just Dive Kick maybe. I don't know. Just Dive Kick, Remy Celeste, we haven't seen them fought yet before. So I don't know who could win, but if Just Dive Kick wins, Hokuto might be getting that comeback he wants in losers.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the chance for the redemption right there. Some places I've seen who are like a little squeamish about calling it losers bracket will call it the redemption bracket. And honestly, I'm not surprised, because that is definitely your shot at redeeming yourself and showing just how good you are. And I want to put something into perspective, that Hokuto is here in losers over 40 people. I mean, these are top 8 out of like a 48-person bracket. They've climbed over a lot of hills to get here.
Yeah, and even if even if Varik wasn't able to really get anything started, even if like some players weren't able to get anything started here in top 8 and weren't able to show off their character properly, the fact is they got to top 8. That's extremely impressive, no matter how you slice it. And I mean, this is just a way to learn.
Top 8.
You're top 8. You're a really good player, but there's always more room to grow for growth. And
think of the Street Fighter 1 win quote. Think about that big screen. It's what strength, but don't forget there are many guys like you all around the world.
Yeah, that is well said. And here we go. I believe the next match might be okay.
We are waiting for Fluxwave Z to be ready.
It'll be winners finals between Joe Ume Rogan and Flux Waves.
I can't wait to see that one, especially after the time Joey Morogan just had with Remy. We've seen Joey Morogan can handle zoners, but Fluxwave Zed is a player who can go from zoning you out to beating your head in up close and personal without even changing characters. So he's handled Luke's before, he's handled Hondas, he's handled Marissa's, he's been just tearing people apart over in the online local. It's going to be really fun to see his bag of tools, and I'm wondering what answers he might have for Joe Umirogan.
Oh yeah, for sure. And these are two top players here at Digital Havoc, top players here in all these Street Fighter 6 brackets. I'm sure they have played quite a bit, have run into each other, and let's see how well they know each other, how well they can adapt. And yeah, these feel like two characters that feel like at the top of the meta right now in Street Fighter 6. We have JP, who's like that big damage zoning tip and keeps you from playing the game, and then we have Luke on the other hand, who's like most very versatile character, a little more straightforward, a little more simple, and can use those simple tools. And those simple tools may not be as complex as, say, JP's, but they're also just as strong and just as important to be keeping your eye on.
Absolutely. And honestly, this is a matchup that everyone's played a few times, and it's going to be really just the ultimate knowledge check. I mean, what do you think about the Luke versus JP matchup?
The Luke JP matchup, whew. I want to say that, yeah, once Luke is able to get in, he's going to do pretty well for himself, and I don't think he's going to have much trouble getting in either. He can put up a decent zoning game. He has like the movement options in order to get in really fast. I mean, he has that run, for example. He has a pretty good drive rush, and also stuff like Heat Knuckle is also going to be going to come into play here to bait out what Fluxwave might throw out. But you can't discount JP either. This is zoning. He's going to make sure that Luke is the one that wants to come in, the aggressor. JP is like that last line of defense. He's home base. He wants you to come to him, and he'll be standing over there, calling the shots, and taking advantage of you whenever you're trying to be a little cheeky, maybe in distance. And that's where that's his opportunity to strike.
Yes, and we've seen that Fluxwave Zed is not going to just sit in the corner hoping you don't get to him. If you get through the minefield he's going to lay down, he's going to be ready for you with his cane. He's going to have his teleports. He's going to have the fireball. He's going to have the command grabs ready. He knows his bread and butter combos. You can't assume that just because you got in, you have won. This is not your ordinary zoner you're talking about. This is someone who's been a zoner for like over 8 years. This person knows the zoner versus Shoto matchup. You're not going to scare him. You're just going to have to try to break him.
And I think that's the case for both of these. I'm sure that Joe Umirogan, a ton of experience against a zoners as playing those more simple characters. So seeing these fundamentals clash with each other and seeing that knowledge accumulated over so many years coming to a head here in winners finals is going to be very exciting to see. And I hope everyone watching is also excited, as we are. I believe we're waiting to get up. And
we're waiting for Fluxwaves to be ready.
Yeah, I think this is also a good opportunity to say support the match arena, support these players.
Yes, please.
If you enjoy this show, enjoyed seeing these games, feel free to help support them. I'm sure that the players appreciate it, and it's just a good way to give back to the community.
Yes, absolutely, because that helps pay the players, that helps pay for running costs, and honestly, it's just a good way to help develop the community and kind of foster a spirit of community togetherness. I mean, it's the fighting game community, not the fighting game loners.
The fighting game loners. That is something. I hope that is not the case.
I'm here all week.
Well, you know what? Yeah, we're not loners. We're like, I feel like the fighting game community is a lot about just giving back, donating. I mean, none of us here are really here to make any money from it. Unlike
Right,
most
yeah.
esport events, we're lucky to even break even, if at all. So.
Yeah, there's only really money at the biggest tournaments like CPT, Tekken World Tour, Evo. Otherwise, you're kind of just here for fun.
Yeah. And that I like that grassroots vibe, and seeing a bunch of like familiar faces always come together to play these games. That's one thing I really like. And Street Fighter 6 is one of many fighting games. There's so
absolutely.
much overlap between these esports, unlike really
Yes.
any other game out there.
There's something a little punk rock about it, honestly, and hear me out, because we are celebrating the diversity of our field and our community, all these different games, all these different kinds of play, all these life. We are here for the mastery itself. And yeah, that's pretty damn punk. But speaking of punks, we're going to see who's going to get punked now, because Joe Rogan is taking the fight to Fluxwave's head right at the starting bell. Here we go, everybody.
This is winners finals, and both players are ready. Looking very back and forth, showing that, oh my god, Joe Rogan just making a mad dash to Fluxwave. What are you doing?
Whips the grab.
I'm going to close that distance.
Fluxwave says grabs, whiffs. Joe Rogan punishes the whiff with another grab. I mean, this is just beautiful Street Fighter, and what an intense first round. I mean, hard to believe that was 30 seconds. It felt more like 3.
Was it actually 30 seconds? That's crazy. That is wild.
This fight is like, if you remember like Dragon Ball, where there was this one fight where they just started, they disappeared, it was over, and people were like, wait, we couldn't see what happened, and they had to do the whole fight again in slow motion.
Alright, Joe Rogan in burnout. This would normally be a pretty bad situation, but Joe Rogan has already closed the distance, but it's not going to matter. Fluxwave EXs the projectile just to close it out with chip. He knows that Joe Rogan can't really do anything about it unless he goes for a hard read.
Both got full meters, both got level 3. Joey Rogan got some good combos, cashing in the level 3 already for that guaranteed damage, trying to make sure the momentum is his. Obviously not going to kill, but it's not always about killing. And of course, Fluxwave Z has his own level 3, already taking the fight back to him, not rattled at all by falling victim to that super. Drive rush in to avoid the portal, but the teleport is there, getting in Fluxwave Z's face, getting juggled, getting the drive rush in, so getting the wall splat. An absolutely brutal display of aggression from Joe Rogan. Is it gonna pay off? It is! Game 1, Joe!
Oh my god. This right here is winners finals. This is also grand finals material too. We are here with some of the best players in this bracket going head to head. Here we go. Okay, Joey Rogan throwing out the Sand Blast, showing that he has projectiles too, but Fluxwave EXing it and saying, no, I am in control. I am the zoner here.
Yep. Good job baiting out the jump in, but not able to avoid the second one. That's a good flash knuckle to end the combo, putting himself in burnout, but it's not going to matter. Another throw going in. Let's see if he goes for the throw. He does.
Is he another throw? Another throw. He does it. Fluxwave was ready to take that third throw. He was betting it all. He put all his chips into the center and went all in on hoping that Joe would not throw for a third time. These are Street Fighter 6 throw loops. This is crazy.
Yes, absolutely. And it feels like every round we're a little out of breath, especially in this match because they are so evenly matched. It feels like every interaction could go either way, and Fluxwave Z is thinking ahead, able to outthink Joe Rogan at some points. The problem is Joe Rogan never releases the pressure. There is no backing off with him, but maybe there should have been a little because he ran himself onto that low attack and getting back into the corner. There's all the portals there, it's the spikes there, the fireballs, and that's gonna kill. We're going to another final round, and is it just me, or have we had barely any final rounds in this bracket up to this set? And so far, both games have gone to final round.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of more one-sided matches in losers round, but this in the losers bracket, but this right here is winners bracket. This is the fight between two top players.
Yes, absolutely.
Joe Rogan. Okay, Joe Rogan is not seeming to have really much of a problem getting in, but the moment he gets in, Fluxwave is like, you know what?
Yes.
I can fight in close quarters too. I am not completely unable. I'm not stunted as a zoner in these tight spaces.
Yes, and it seems like Fluxwave's Ed kind of figures out a move or two ahead how to punish Joe Rogan from getting in the first place, but knowing how to do it and being able to do it are two different things. Eating this super, and they are both close to burnout or in it, both on a sliver of health, one good interaction away. Joe Rogan much less so, but eating a lot of punishment and trying to get in. That is a scary whirlwind of pain to get through, and already leading with the Sandblast, trying to go in. Can he do it? They reset into neutral. They're looking at each other, sweeping at each other. Goes through with the punish counter.
Drive impact.
Drive impact to take game 2. That is some courage from Joe Rogan, not intimidated by the barrage of zoning. And already juggling Fluxwaves like a bowling pin to start off the third game. I mean, it's entirely possible Joe Rogan 0-3s, 3-0s. Fluxwaves trying to make that not happen.
Oh my god, you're right. It is 2-0. It does not feel like that. It feels like we're even up because of how much Fluxwave is able to fight back, but he is not able to ever secure, like, he's not able to finish it off. He can put up a fight, but not able to close anything.
Yes. So far, shutting down Joe Rogan, but he goes through the fireball.
Wow, is it going to clash? It does clash. They both press at the same time. He goes for it again. That is very brave of Joe Rogan, but Fluxwave knew that. He knew that you cannot just armor through that little health that you have, and he can just smack you regardless of the armor.
Joe not deterred at all. Is not himself onto Fluxwave's offense. Not always going to matter. Like here, the throw loop is there, and sometimes it's better to take Flux really forward to do it. Rogan just taking an absolute battering, but I can say that about either player at any point in this match. That's how close they are. But let's see if that's going to kill.
I don't know if it will.
Coming out.
It might.
Let's see. Let's see. No, just barely not. Joe Rogan just still in this. Fluxwaves
right up to him. Joe Rogan using the drive gate to run up and just smacks him with the cane. You are not coming near me, Fluxwave says.
Yeah, catches him running himself onto the cane, and that is 2-1. Fluxwaves back on the board, catching himself a break, getting back in this, keeping himself alive. Really got to start taking these throws, though. I mean, it feels like Joe Rogan just throws all day for free, and Fluxwaves is not really in a situation where he can afford to indulge that. The cross-up is there, but Fluxwaves saw it coming, but seeing it coming and being able to do something about it, entirely different things, taking a lot of aerial punishment back into the corner. Can he drive Joe Rogan back?
Okay, Fluxwave trying to keep him out, throwing out the cane, but you know, Joe Rogan has shown time and time again he is jumping at the right times, punishing Fluxwave, and also using Dry Rush at the right times to punish him for throwing out those buttons. You can try to zone, but with that fast movement, he can just make it straight in the melee punish counter. You gotta be aware of.
And speaking of,
and here we go. Joe Rogan doing another very effective jump in and closing out that round. Joe Rogan on set point, jumping the command grab, running straight in, but he's not able to really get anything afterwards. Fluxwave, nice anti-air. Okay, throwing out the projectiles, drive rushing in of his own.
Yes. Fluxwave's trying to restore neutral a little, trying to drive him back, but he is making his last stand. Joe Rogan drive rushing through the fireballs, another throw loop. Fluxwaves never seems to have an answer for that, and Joe Rogan good at really finding ways around that cane. Maybe not so much the fireballs and the portal traps, but look at this. I mean, in Burnout, still not at all afraid, getting driven back. There's the Sandblast, driving him into the corner. Fluxwave's fighting out, getting through the Sandblast, jumping over that one. Gets caught coming down, though. That is a painful combo to eat. Here's going to be another throw loop. No teching from Fluxwaves, and Joe Rogan, Grand Finals.
Taking it 3-1. That was so clean. I feel like at that final moment, or at least throughout most of the rounds, Joe Rogan knew that Fluxwave is not here to tech the throws. He's really just here, or he's here to take the throws, not tech them. So he's able to get 1-2 throws each time, and whenever he gets those throws, that's just basically free damage for him because
Yes.
Fluxwave is not taking that risk, not taking the risk to tech anything, and that is really important. And Joey May Rogan knew that and really abused that, and was able to really take very important leads because of it.
Yes, we talked all night so far about the danger of getting too patient and too defensive. And it did feel like, not for most of the set, not all the time, but Fluxwaves did have a few times where he was turtling up a bit. And maybe, if not unsure what to do, a little too willing to give Joe Mirogan enough rope to hang himself. And unfortunately, if you get too patient, that just leaves too many openings for your opponent to run wild. But the crazy thing about that set is, it's incredibly easy to see a world where we're talking the other way around about how Fluxwaves was so patient, methodical, and composed, and ended up just running Joe Mirogan onto his spear. That was insanely close, and my money's on an encore in Grand Finals. But so far, we have Remy Celeste, we have Hokuto, losers semifinals. Let's go!
Here we go. Hokuto seems like a hidden killer right now. Really making work against most people in his bracket right now. Was able to win against another zoner in the form of JP. But, you know, Dalsum's a bit of a different zoner. He's not a projectile zoner. And Remy Celeste seems to be much more on top of really whiff punishing you, really taking advantage of his space.
I'm going to take a brief sidebar to thank Nagatalox2 for the raid of 39 people. Welcome to the stream. You are just in time for an absolutely insane top 3. This is crazy stuff here. Hokuto, Remy Celeste. Hokuto not having a lot of luck getting in so far. Remy really much more composed than the last time we saw him. Much easier time keeping people out. Probably already had time to go over the tapes a bit and recenter himself. But Hokuto, no quit.
Okay, going straight into the super. I like that. Put the fiery orb up, teleporting to him, to his location.
I like how easily.
Okay, here we go.
I like how easily Remy Celeste is mixing Hokuto up. This has been in his favor all night. He keeps changing levels. He keeps changing directions. Hokuto and all his other opponents have never been able to reliably defend because no attack is coming from the same place twice. Remy Celeste is just such a wriggly character. He is just so hard to pin down. It feels like very few people have had any idea how to deal with him.
Dalsum really using, I mean, he's a zoner, but a zoner with movement options. And that is something so important to be able to utilize to its fullest extent. And that's what Remy Celeste is doing right now, using that movement options from Dalsum to really mix up his zoning game. Going for those, like using levitate to go for those zoning, go for those overheads, avoid certain moves, and using teleport to get out of tricky situations that most characters wouldn't be able to. But here we go, Hokuto getting a medal. Going in with the to the second round with 3 medals. This is not too bad.
Yes, and that was a good parry from Hokuto. Saw the sweep coming. I mean, it feels like half the time you come in, Remy is there with the sweep, there with a good boot to the shins, which is good. It's working for him, but getting a little predictable. And Hokuto finding more and more opportunities to get in, putting himself in burnout, but the 4th medal is there and a commanding life lead.
He got the jump in. Okay, the perfect parry, throwing him straight into the corner. Now, Hokuto is going to have to find a way to get himself out. He does have 4 medals, though, so really anything can do it. He can use EX to go through a fireball, and that will work as well. But he is, well, Remy Celeste right now feels like he's fighting an uphill battle, but in reality, I think he has Hokuto where he wants him, but no! Once Hokuto was finally able to get into that sweet spot, he's able to use his overhead. I mean, everyone talks about command grabs, about the medals when it comes to Manon, but nobody talks about that overhead, how big it is, how fast it is, and how it catches you off guard, even in neutral.
Absolutely. Manon is so fast, so graceful, so everything, really. It's really hard to figure out how to fight her, and Remy has been doing a great job catching up, but Hokuto's starting to warm up here, really very willing to spend that meter, put himself in burnout, and doing a good job just oppressing Remy, who does manage the parry and the throw of the punish counter, manages to reverse this, but that's a bit of a tall mountain to climb, and I don't think he was expecting to drop that second game. So it's going to be interesting to see how he recovers from Hokuto's sudden revival in fortune.
All right, set him ablaze, set him on fire. Okay, tossing the fireballs and the punish counter on the parry. What are you doing? Trying to parry, trying to regain drive gauge in my block string? Okay, you're going to take that hit and you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, I said it'd be interesting to see how he reacts. I think he took that second game a little personally. I mean, that was some incredible aggression from Remy at the end of that last round, but let's see if he can keep it up. Managing to drive Hokuto back into the corner, spending the meter, getting himself in burnout, not at all deterred, keeping the mix-up going with punish, gets the combo, gets the fireballs out there, trying to teleport away, trying to do a yoga fly, getting anti-aired, but Hokuto not quite able to do much with it, gets the punish counter, might be able to restore a bit of momentum. That's 3 medals now. Can he make something happen here? Getting through the defenses,
reversal, able to punish him with the level 3.
Here comes the level 3.
Go for it, damn. This is
enough.
critical art version.
This is the critical art. Not quite enough to kill, but that's a lot of momentum.
Okay, going for the drive reversal. Remy Celeste really
Who's
fought
going to take this? Who's going to take it? A good anti-air from Remy Celeste, and he's up 2-1. But what a fight back from Hokuto. That was some real flashes of brilliance there. That critical art could easily have sealed the deal. So it's really a testament to Remy's composure, patience, resolve, and knowledge of his character. He is so confident in his character that he's not worried when his opponent gets one over on him. He knows he has the tools to come back.
You can say that again. So here we go. Hokuto getting another good start against Remy Celeste. Okay, blocks the overhead, not able to punish it. I don't think that is punishable. Not the EX version, that is. And going for the EX command grab and getting that extra medal just to secure himself into the next round. That's something that Manon can really do, is just secure the future rounds just by getting those medals, just by getting a command grab.
Yes, and Hokuto keeps having very strong first rounds, starting the games off very strong. But the problem has been Remy adapts very quickly, and Hokuto doesn't really have enough gas in the tank to make that first impression last. I mean, a very strong player, but really has to spend that momentum more wisely and not spend it all at once, not throw everything in the kitchen sink at Remy right at the start. We want to see a little more like this, but really Remy Celeste fighting off the back foot very well, about to take this round, but going through with the punish counter and into another super. Hokuto not at all dismayed, not at all deterred, getting some serious damage with this critical art. Not gonna kill, but gonna make Remy feel like she did, and that is some really, really, really low health, taking the game. It is now 2-2.
Oh, evening it out. Hokuto showing that they are also here to adapt. Finally getting used to Dalsum. Again, a bit of the trickier zoner, but now able to work around those tools much more effectively as we continue through this set.
We have said that the key to this is how fast you can adapt, how fast you can learn your opponent's tricks, how fast you can adjust to new information, and it seems like Hokuto is doing an exceptional job. Look how high the damage is, look how low Remy's health is getting. Gotta make something happen. He has been playing exceptionally all night, but is he gonna be able to keep it up? I don't think he was expecting to find his back against a wall. That Yoga Inferno is there for him, and he's driven Hokuto all the way back. But Hokuto's in again, close to burnout, got a medal going, and that's the first round. That is set point for Hokuto, and really, Remy has to make it all happen here. Has to summon the yoga magic, has to put himself back in this, has to remember why he's fighting.
No, drops. Oh, Hokuto tried to go for the punish, but gets hit by the super anyways. That is a lingering hitbox if I've ever seen one. Okay, now using those teleports, being really tricky to anti-air. Okay, now he's in the corner using those parries. Okay, yeah, you know, again with like these multi-hitting moves, that's basically just free drive gauge. Going drive rush in, Command grab, another command grab. Will he go for another one? Not quite.
High flux waves. But yeah, that is some serious damage, some serious pressure, some serious opposition. Those command grabs have been there. The counter is there for Remy. Can Remy make it through this? Has to play perfectly for the next round.
Oh my God, in the drive rush.
Reversal.
The drive rush into the drive impact. Remy Celeste with these reactions on point against Hokuto.
That is some exceptional
okay,
drive meter awareness.
Into the command grab. It might not be too much damage, but it is 4 medals and another medal.
Another
Hokuto
command grab.
5 medals.
Holy cow. Oh, both of them have had exceptional parries all night.
Hokuto, sweet spot. He is in control. Okay,
Hokuto is coming. Hokuto.
He's coming for you.
Trying to keep up the pressure, not letting Remy get up. Wants those meaty command grabs. Wants to drive impact. Here comes the critical arm. Here it comes.
Taking him for a dance.
Nope, that's normal stuff.
This shows that the grappler, oh my God, not able to kill.
And goodbye, Remy.
The way Hokuto weaved through that fireball at that final moment and hitting Remy Celeste with what I believe to be that jump medium kick was exceptional. Wow.
Yes, Remy had an amazing bracket tonight. He did extremely well for himself. That was some exceptional Dalsim play, but this time it just wasn't quite enough. Hokuto with a masterful performance. The grappling was there. The parries were there. Such keen awareness of the drive gauge and the drive meter and their metal mechanic. The overheads were there. The anti-airs were there. Yeah, honestly, that was a very strong opening for Remy, but it felt like very quickly Hokuto figured him out.
Because, yeah, I mean, Remy, I think what he really figured out too was how Remy Celeste liked to use Dalsim's movement, and it was less maybe of just like reacting to how he moves, but also like anticipating where he's going to end up and then punishing him accordingly. Because, you know, teleports, they are very strong, but they're also very committal too. When you jump in the air as Dalsim, you're up in there for a long time. And while you do have some good jump buttons to really cancel out some of those anti-airs, there's only so much you can do when the other person is really on top of that and really ready to punish you for doing so.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to see if Hokuto can put that theory into action. Here we go. Fluxwave Zed, losers final, trying to redeem himself after that knockdown, drag-out battle with Joe Umerogen. Hokuto not wanting them to have that chance for a rematch, trying to crush this rivalry in its cradle.
Okay, walking a little forward. He has taken out one JP before, but this is a bit of a different JP. Hokuto really going through the gauntlet of zoners right now. And there we go.
Look at that overhead.
That overhead. You gotta be aware of that. It's such a fast move. So long reach, deceptively long it feels sometimes. And you're going to be stuck
really
at
hard.
that kind of distance.
Yeah. It's really hard to read that overhead. Her legs are so long and lithe that I promise I'm not making this weird, but it's hard to read where exactly the hitbox stops. And you are in a world of hurt if that does land. Hokuto driving Fluxwave's head into the corner. That's some exceptional parry work and defensive work, but taking some damage. The thing with Fluxwave's head and his JP is he only needs to get you once.
But Hokuto also the same way too. I mean, look at him. Just needed to get Fluxwave once. He hit him once, going straight into the critical art. And also, even without the critical art, he just needed one command grab with how many medals he has stacked up thus far. Hokuto doing an exceptional job at taking those leads by building up those medals. And Fluxwave really having a hard time keeping Hokuto out.
Yes, I mean, we've only seen Joe Umerogen give Fluxwave this much trouble tonight, and really, Hokuto had an exceptional first game. That was wonderful Manon play, but Fluxwave Zed starting to warm up a bit, kept Hokuto on the opposite side of the screen for a long time, and now that Hokuto is in, can't find a way to stay in, keeps eating that cane, keeps eating drive impacts and drive rushes. That anti-air is there, but not quite able to turn it into counter. There's only the single serving, there's no three-piece, there's no soda, and the first round comes from an exceptional combo by Fluxwave Zed, who has warmed up a bit, maybe needed some time to download, and had an exceptional round.
Okay, man. Okay, now here we go. Fluxwave is really adjusting right here. So look at him, just knowing when to
Yes.
really press out of Hokuto's pressure, but Hokuto's still letting it on. Drive impact, trying to go to the projectile, but Fluxwave recovered just in time to drive impact with his own. Trying to go for a reset with another drive impact, it seems. Okay, now he's using level 2. This is the first time we have seen JP's level 2 so far, and Hokuto now is in a world of hurt. Look at that damage just pile up, going to EX portal. You are stuck here right now. You
Throwing out all frantically parrying and blocking and turtling, managing to get out of the maelstrom, but such little health. That is one interaction away. The golf swing was there. Both of them in burnout, but not going to be enough. JP, Fluxwave's Ed taking the second game, 1-1, and what an exciting match this is. Look how evenly matched they are. I feel like any of the top three could take the whole damn thing. Any one of them would be a credible champion tonight.
Any of them feels like a grand finals match right now, and it is becoming super close. Okay, Hokuto using these parries just to, you know, not let the drive gauge really whittle down, but when you're parrying like that, you're not moving forward and you can't really push any advantage, and so Fluxwave can just keep wailing on with all of this screen space, all of this screen pressure, sending out all of his moves to really hit you hard. But okay, now Hokuto showing some signs of life.
Hokuto managing to get in there, but eating some punishment, running right onto the cane. That is what Fluxwave's Ed was looking for his entire set with Joe Mirogan, and against Hokuto, he gets it. I mean, it's not that it's easy to do this, it's that it's incredibly hard to pull it off consistently. That says as much about Joe Mirogan and Fluxwave's Ed as it does Hokuto, who is managing to come back in here. No quitting Hokuto. Not going to see them just turtling and waiting for their shot, but can Fluxwave's Ed keep up this incredible pressure? Here it comes. Here comes the super. And that is an anime death if I have ever seen one. That is going to be it. The second game goes to Fluxwave's Ed. And in what brutal fashion.
I don't know about you, but I feel like Fluxwave has really been stacking up these perfects. It's like his resume is like, how many perfects have I gone in Digital Havoc here today? I feel like he's gotten like 5 now by this point.
Absolutely, it's got to be somewhere close to that. I mean, even if he doesn't win, Fluxwave's Ed is an incredible player. I mean, you look at his overall win-loss records, and even in brackets where he doesn't take the whole damn thing, he makes himself look incredible. I mean, it doesn't matter if he takes first, second, fifth, 10th. Beating him is a tall mountain to climb.
You know, I really like what Fluxwave is doing here. When Hokuto gets into these spaces, Hokuto, like he's keeping Hokuto at that distance where Hokuto can't quite get a command grab, can't quite really use some of her shorter, stubbier buttons that can get her offense started. And so he's using that his cane to the advantage because Hokuto doesn't have very many long pokes, and the long pokes she does have often become very committal. So, so when he can be able to block or even stuff out Hokuto's long pokes, he can immediately start pushing the advantage back in his favor.
Absolutely, and push he is. Fluxwave's Ed driving Hokuto all the way to the corner, and already here comes another super. Might or might not kill, a decent chance of it, but some vital momentum going Fluxwave's Ed's way, and in spitting distance of the tournament, the set point. Here we come, Fluxwave's Ed in grand finals. It's Joe Mirogan, it's Fluxwave's Ed. The rematch is here.
Yeah, Fluxwave is definitely here, back to make a statement showing that he's got it in him. He's got it in him to really go back to Joe Mirogan, get that run back that he wants in order to take the round. And I mean, you know, Fluxwave has been looking really strong in losers right now, and he also was looking very strong in the last round. I think one important thing about these run backs is that both players have adjusted to each other already. So now we're going into, like, if we're already in layer 3, we're going to be going to layer 4, layer 5, layer 6 as we go into this final into this last grand finals match between the two.
Yes, absolutely. And I can tell that this is going to turn into one of the great rivalries. This is going to turn into some Myelin versus Metro M, some Tokito versus Daigo, some Punk versus everybody. This is going to be an incredible pair of matches. This is going to be some awesome stuff that these two make together. They both know each other and their characters so well. I say each other, but I mean like the matchup. I don't know how often they've actually come face to face. I'll check FG Combo for that and see their history in Street Fighter V, but what a set they are creating. This is some magic right here.
Yeah, this is the villain versus the hero matchup right here in lore. We got Luke,
Hand-in
the
matchup.
good side of things, and then we got JP, the evil psycho power guy who wants to
You're saying
play
Luke
his
isn't
own
evil?
way. In different ways. Gameplay-wise, we're going to call him evil. They're both villains in different ways. I just feel like
Yes.
JP got that
Sometimes
extra touch of being a villain in both the game and
Canon,
the
yeah.
story.
Yeah, sometimes you need a bad guy to do the dirty work. I mean, Luke is literally a PMC, so he's used to that.
And I mean, hey, JP is a tax accountant. You know what I mean, he does Bison's taxes.
Yes, that's even worse, isn't it? Being an accountant.
Yeah, I don't know which one's worse. They're both very funny.
Chat, what do you
but
think?
Here we go. Flux Wave swapping the corner, going for the setting up those spires. Go Ume Rogan. Wow, able to still get out regardless.
Yes, that is some incredible stuff from Joe Rogan, but both of them just punish counter each other, reading each other several moves ahead. Both of them, Luke's CA, JP's level 3, and that is the round for not Joe Rogan, I'm sorry, I was talking too fast. Fluxways, another final round, and you wouldn't be able to tell if this is the first game. It feels like they have been fighting for 100 years.
Well, here we go. Both players already with full meter as well. I mean, we're going to the last round. So, again, when we're going to final rounds like these, full drive gauge, you got full meter.
Yes.
You're going to blow up if you get hit, and so that just makes it even scarier. You don't want to be in these final round situations. But here we are.
Yeah, there's a second there where it's like, am I playing Street Fighter 6 or am I playing Samurai Showdown?
Oh, let's not get started on Samurai Showdown. I don't think we can properly compare Street Fighter 6 to a game like Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown's like is in its own league.
Yeah, probably. And we don't have enough room for it this time as Fluxwave Z avenges himself in the first game, putting Joe Rogan on notice. This is not going to be an easy day at the office. If Joe Rogan wants his third tournament win in a row, he's going to have to earn it.
But remember, Fluxwave does have to get that reset. So he's going to have to win 3 matches and then have to win 3 matches
6 times.
yet again. While Joe Rogan got a bit
6 times.
easier. He's on winner's side. He hasn't lost once, so now he just needs to win 3 matches here, and that really brings up the stakes.
Yes, and something that comes to mind is the last time they met, it was Joe Rogan 3, Fluxwave Z 1. So that early win doesn't necessarily tell all.
Yeah, but regardless, Fluxwave is still looking as strong as ever going to the second round. He very well may take this second game against Ume Rogan and put him on set point. Ume Rogan playing patient. Okay, now using that drive rush. He's really strong at using these drive rushes to punish Fluxwave for trying to do things full screen. Luke is such a fast character. Oh my god, and the punish counter on the drive reversal.
Yes, look at him baiting out these big swings so he can block it and punish Fluxwave Z for even trying. He has the combos in his pocket. He is ready, and he just does so well at creating these openings for punishment. The old saying goes, make him miss, make him pay, and he is doing a good job at that second one, driving through, forcing me to the corner. Here comes, I believe, the critical art. That should kill.
This is
wow, volley of punishment.
Punch him in the face. Hey, oh, and Luke, Joe Ume Rogan showing he's still in it. I'm here
Another
to win
final
as
round.
well.
I mean, It's yet another final round. I feel like almost all of their games have gone to final rounds. These two are so well matched. And it's funny because at any moment, the game looks one-sided in favor of one of them. But then the next, you blink, and it is turned all the way around. Look at Joe Rogan forcing his way through Fluxwave Zed's defenses. But honestly, I fully expect Fluxwave Zed to find a way out of this. But he does have to stop just sitting there and taking those throws. He's entirely too willing to take them, and he just cannot keep giving up the momentum like that. I mean, he seems to be doing fine for himself with this super, but you know, the punishment is there, and every bit of damage counts, especially when you are on the wrong side of Grand Finals.
Yes, but he's showing that that punishment in the end was meaningless, and using those spires, that is such a hard thing. Like, you want to walk forward against JP, and he just brings those spires out of the ground, and immediately you're dead. And you're like, wait, I just got hit by this. Okay.
Yes, I mean, that feels like it's the way of this game. You get hit, and then next thing you know, half your life bar is gone. It's like, what the hell even happened? Fluxwave is forcing him to set to neutral, taking a
just a bit. I like Joe Rogan's spacing right now, or was spacing before, where he was just playing right outside of Fluxwave's range. I mean, Fluxwave has those big staff normals, but those normals weren't able to hit him even when he was that close. Look at that! Look at that spacing. Joe Rogan has this down.
Yeah, well, you say that, but Fluxwave Zed as good at spacing as anybody else, and forcing him all the way back across the screen, blocking that drive rush, forcing Joey Rogan into burnout. They're both in burnout. A sliver of health left for Joey Rogan, about to put himself on set point. Imagine if he takes the returning champion and 3-0s him to reset the bracket. He is in spitting distance of doing exactly that, but not if Joey Rogan has anything to say about it.
I mean, also, okay, one throw, second throw. Oh no, he techs it this time. Okay, Fluxwave is starting to realize that I'm not going to give you this free damage. And here you go, a cheeky command grab directly in your face.
Joey Rogan is good at using the drive rush to dodge those portals, but I think Fluxwave Zed is starting to read them because he was able to reverse the situation and force Joey Rogan back into the corner, and he is relying on those weird hitboxes to keep Joey Rogan on a leash, but it's not enough. That wall splat combo turns into 1-1 and yet another final round. If my eyes do not deceive me, every single game this set has gone to a final round. Joey Rogan might or might not go down 0-3 this time, but he is no pushover and never will be.
This is going to be a good amount of damage, but there's also going to be a lot of skilling. He did use Dry Rush twice, so it's not going to be doing as much damage as it could have. But you know what? I feel like that is definitely a good start because Joey Rogan honestly is not scared of Fluxwave. I think, and that's really important to have. And there we go. Oh my God, not able to finish it off, but he will with that throw right there. Fluxwave stuck in the corner, not able to do anything. Joey Rogan has another round in him. Here we go. 1-2. Joey Rogan looking to take this back. He is not going down without a fight.
He's getting the green eye shot. He's getting inner light playing in the background. He's remembering the people who took him this far. The first guy who ever taught him to play on a controller. The first video game he ever saw on a TV. He's having the full anime flashback and remembering why he loves fighting games. And he's trying to take it to Fluxwaves.
Here we go. We got the refrigerator in the back cheering him on too.
Well, of course. Okay, he knows Joey Rogan's a cool guy.
Jump-ins are really putting in a lot of mileage for Joey Rogan along with these throws. I love that Joey Rogan is not really scared of Fluxwave. Fluxwave is going throughout these portals, going throughout these projectiles, but Joey Rogan really just books it at him. He's like, he knows the way to get around these, and with full confidence too, he's not afraid of them, and that's the best thing that he could have against a character like JP.
Absolutely, and if anything, I think Fluxwave's maybe showing... I'm trying to figure out if he's showing too much respect to Joe or not enough, because it feels like he's leaving a lot on the table, and when Joey Rogan does get in, it feels like Fluxwave's a little too eager to let him stay there.
Wow, it feels like I think Fluxwave like dropped something there because he did get thrown into the corner. Was able to find his way out
that was
though.
enough.
Okay.
All right, rewinding the machine, getting the tornado back up.
Oh, and that is
Here
it.
comes a level
Going to
3.
spend the cash, spend the money,
Yep.
take this round. Does not want this to go on any longer at such low health. Really, anything could go wrong at that point, and Fluxwave is not willing to take those chances, willing to spend that extra mirror just to secure that future for him here.
Yep, and he is on reset point, but has to get through the barrage of offense because Joe Umirogen knows how much danger he is in. I mean, if I'm Joe Umirogen, I'm maybe thinking I can afford to let this reset, but his pride is on the line. He has won both of the previous tournaments. He has had such a good record throughout the lifetime of Street Fighter V. He doesn't want any gimmies. He wants to fight. He wants to take Fluxwaves for everything he's worth, and he is going to try to seal the deal on this tournament. He wants to go home early tonight. That weird hitbox is there, though.
You try to walk forward, and you got the Spire,
and
the portal in the back, like tapping him on the shoulder, saying, "Where are you going?" As Fluxwave takes it 3-1 over Joe Umirogen, resetting the bracket. We have a grand finals reset here at Digital Havoc tonight. Joe Umirogen and Fluxwave going for another first to 3 to decide who wins this bracket tonight. I'm excited. Are you excited? This is
I know
something
I am.
This is something that Sway has definitely really been putting in the work right now, really making the proper adjustments to manage to take a 3-1. I mean, last time Joe Umirogen took a 3-1 against him, so now I feel like it can go either way.
Yes, either way. And honestly, if they put a prediction on the chat, I'm not looking at chat, I would not know who to pick. I would not know who to put my points on. Anyone could win this. If they played 100 times, they would both win 50. That is how close a matchup this is. They are both absolute masters at their craft. I'm amazed this fight is happening here at Digital Havoc and not at EVO, but Fluxwaves seriously has to defend these throws better. I mean, I'm talking him up and he's just getting planted.
I want to say something, but I have no words for that one interaction right there. Fluxwave was just sitting there hoping the throws would end, and Joey Rogan's like, "I'm not going to keep throwing you. I don't care. You're not checking them. Prove to me that you can check them. Prove to me you're going to use like amnesia or something, and I'm just going to keep throwing you."
I have to admit, I'm perplexed by Fluxwave's just willingness to take the throw again and again and again. I mean, he's obviously waiting for something, and this round he seems to be getting whatever it is, because Joe Umirogen had a much harder time getting in.
Oh my god, that was so smart. Using the throw, not caring about the amnesia mine right there, using the throw to get that invincibility, but that invincibility and that smart decision making was not enough, as he threw Fluxwave out of the corner, and Fluxwave was able to get something started back up and take that round against Joe. Yeah, and these two are just incredibly well matched. Every single game has gone to a final round, and Fluxwave's head may be thinking he doesn't need to worry about these throws so much, but honestly, I would start worrying about him, especially as here comes the super, and that's not quite going to kill, not enough, but it is a critical loss of momentum when Joe Umirogen hasn't even taken any damage yet. Might take the first game on a perfect KO, maybe not. Fluxwave showed me some defensive brilliance, but gets the perfect KO, going 1-0. And that is 2 games left for Fluxwaves, who has to win games 4, 5, and 6 after that masterful reset. Wow, it feels like everything has just completely swapped again. Joe Umirogen looking dominant in winners finals. Now we have Fluxwave looking dominant in the run back. Now we're in the reset, and Joe Umirogen showing that he's adjusting back again. He is back in it, and he's here to really make a statement. Yes, but Joe Umirogen forced back. I'm not entirely sure it's right to say either one of them is dominant at any point, because they both get their licks in constantly. And here is Fluxwave Zed, not deterred, not afraid, maybe a little not afraid enough, because he just ate 2 uppercuts coming in and takes the throw yet again. Joe Umirogen trying to make a statement, and really,
Not only am I worried about the mental stack, I'm kind of worried about their physical hands, their ability to keep playing, because I know if I were playing this set, mine would be in absolute agony.
You say that again? Okay, going to take the throw. Throw one. Oh, he jumps it this time. Not able to get the anti-air. Joe Rogan going to eat a good amount of damage from this corner combo, but Fluxwave putting himself into burnout. The portals are still going to hit. Now he's going to just sit back here, wait for the burnout timer to end. But Joe Rogan immediately, like, he's so good at just calling out when to run in, when to make that mad dash and take Fluxwave out. And here we go. We're 2-0. Fluxwave yet to take a single game in this reset. And Joe Rogan on that set point, set game, in order to take grand finals away from Fluxwave.
Yeah, it's almost like
he wants it bad.
Yeah, it's almost like he let Fluxwave Z get comfortable or something to download him, like Fluxwave Z has been doing all bracket, and this has been all Joe Rogan this first round so far. Yeah, Fluxwave Z showing a few flashes of brilliance, getting some defense in, forcing Joe Rogan into burnout. But Joe Rogan is so good at fighting out of burnout, it's like it's not even a mechanic. And already Fluxwave Z on a sliver of life, trying to keep him at bay, jumping over the sand blast. Really well-timed neutral jump, gets the slide, maybe a little too close. Joe Rogan reads the jump in, the cross-up, and he's on tournament point.
Right, immediate drive rush in. Okay, overhead. This is going to be big. Throwing him straight into the corner. Fluxwave jumping, maybe anticipating a throw and going to get a good punish off this, sending him full screen. Okay, but Fluxwave now is on the back foot in terms of drive gauge. And here we go, Joe Rogan going straight in, knowing that he has little drive gauge. He can just do this, but he still has enough drive gauge, enough for that drive impact right there. And Fluxwave is going to cash out. He has level 3. Whether or not he's going to spend it is the case. He spends it. This is very close to killing. I think it might kill, actually. Let's see. There it is.
It does. Fluxwave's keeping himself alive. The last stand continues.
Okay, immediate drive rush in. This time, Fluxwave doing a good job at checking it.
Yes, Fluxwave's I mean, the thing is, Fluxwave's style is very reactive and defensive, even when he's on the attack. And you can't read perfectly forever. Sometimes Joe Rogan is just a little too fast for him. And worth keeping in mind, Joe Rogan has the critical order in his pocket, but that might not matter. Look at this from Fluxwave's a perfect KO to go 2-1. I mean, where was that when he needed it last game?
He is back in it. All right. Now it's looking... Yeah, I know. It's looking so back and forth. You were always talking about how you can't say whether or not one player is dominant over the other. And this is really shining through right now.
Yes,
absolutely. Get in, punish counter. Not able to really convert into anything too big. Joe Rogan using the drive rush to get in.
Good timing.
Fluxwave doing a good job at checking him, throwing out those anti-airs, throwing out those standing medium punches, heavy punches, keeping him out. But you can't keep him out for that long, as Joe Rogan is just jumping in with reckless abandon.
Reads the jump in, the anti-air is there.
Of that.
Fluxwave Z very good at forcing Joe Rogan into burnout, really good at depleting his resources, but sometimes has a problem following up and really figuring out what to do next. And Joe Rogan often free to just tee off. Fluxwave Z trying to amend that, trying to keep him away, but Joe Rogan drive rushes again, gets the EX knuckle, gets some punishment going. He is trying to put on the hurt. Joe Rogan forced back into the corner. Here comes a super. I mean, that just looks insane. How do you even get around that?
One mistake is 70% of your life gone. Burnout state. But Joe Rogan is fighting like that has never even happened. He is still pushing the aggression, just like if he were on full life. And he gets the hit to confirm into level 1. Oh my god, making that comeback against Fluxwave. Very clean play. We are on tournament point yet again for Joe Rogan. And Fluxwave immediately set on the back foot. Oh, but he gets the drive impact. This could be really big for him.
Fluxwave's Ed, very, very good at fighting off the back foot. In fact, some of his biggest flaws in this bracket have come when he's gotten a little too eager about going in ahead and really taking the fight to his opponent. You don't want to just sit there and turtle, but you do have to understand your strengths and weaknesses. But that might not be enough. That might not matter anymore. That is a lot of punishment. Joe Ume Rogan in spitting distance of the entire tournament. That is
with
a
the
slither
throw.
of
Oh no, he
health.
doesn't go for the
Away.
three.
Joe Ume Rogan,
It's just
3 tournaments. Joe Ume Rogan, 3 tournaments in a row. 1 loss set that entire night. He is the champion yet again. What a wonderful digital Havoc he has had. Just what a beautiful set from both players. We spent that whole set saying one guy's winning and the other's one guy, the other guy. It felt like we couldn't catch up, but finally Joe Ume Rogan powering through, remembering why he is here, and he is the champion yet again.
And Joe Ume Rogan with that protagonist energy, really just taking all the adjustments that accumulated through that course of the match and really just coming to a head in that final round to find out who won grand final.